Hello, Jerry. How you doing? I hope you can hear me. I gotta get a couple things done here. All right, there we go. Hey, Annabella, how you doing? Welcome to the channel. Happy Saturday night here, Annabella. But happy Sunday to you. Hey, Larice, how you doing? Welcome. Uh, like I said, I got in a couple minutes early, but I don't think anybody's going to kill me for that. Uh, so just trying to get this thing started. So Jerry and Annabelle or Reese, if you got anything you want to ask me, go ahead and ask me. If you want to come up and talk with me, go ahead and come up. I know Jerry knows how to do it. And if you want to put the information in for your channel, just type in LLL and my Nightbot will drop it. We try to make things easy. Just my initials, Lazy Larry Lee, LLL, and it'll drop it for you. And so I hope everybody's having either a good Sunday in the Philippines or a Saturday night here in the States. I know where Jerry's at. It's what, Jerry, 6 o'clock where you're at? So right now it's 8 o'clock here. And so now later on after the time change, I know it's 9 o'clock in the morning in the Philippines right now. But after we have our time change, it'll be 8 o'clock in the Philippines when I do this in the morning, and it'll be 8 o'clock here at night in the States. That'll be coming up, if I remember right, sometime in March, I think. 7. Okay, you're only an hour behind us. You're like Illinois. You're Central. Okay, I wasn't sure what you guys were. So you're Central. And I'm just looking to see if I can see when the time change is going to be. I wish that thing would shut up. But let's get to my calendar and see if it tells me. And I know it's not in February, so it's not in March either. It must be April. What am I doing? Must be April. Can't be that. Huh. Wonder what day it is they're changing the time. Maybe it's not going to tell me that. Yeah, all right. This is March 12th. It's a Sunday, but Saturday night we switched the clocks back before the going to bed, so you would give you that. Actually, it'll give me an hour less sleep, but that's fine. So I'll be doing a live stream the night it happens, which is all right. I knew it was coming up pretty soon. So as of March 12th in the Philippines, we'll have the same time frame as everybody else. Hello, Annabella. How you doing?
I'm eating.
It's nice to have you up here. You got anything you want to talk about?
I'm done working.
You're done working? Well, I got off at 7. I work 7 to 7 on Saturday and Sunday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Here, Philippines, 9 a.m. in the morning. It's Sunday.
What I do is that when I get home, I'll eat my supper real quick. I don't eat. I already just finished my supper a little bit ago because it takes me about 20 minutes or more to drive home from work. I live that far away, so it takes me about 20 minutes. I drive home. I'll grab a quick bite to eat. Then I set up my live stream and start my live stream.
Okay.
When I first started doing live streams on Saturdays, I had Saturdays and Sundays both off. Now I work both days. I volunteered to work Saturday and Sunday because it gives me an extra day off. Instead of having just 2 days off, now I have 3, and I still get my 40 hours in. And so I decided to do that. And I like the extra day. I'm old enough that if I could afford it, I'd quit working. Yeah, I'd probably still work a little bit because, like I said, a lot of people know that my mother's still alive. She's 97 years old, and I'm not going anywhere that I can't make it back to be close to my mom if something goes wrong within a day. Now, I live about a half a day from my mother for driving, and so I won't go much farther away than what I live. But like I said, I don't want to spend that far away. So, like I said, she's 97 years old. She's in her nursing home because she falls all the time. So she's got to have somebody with her 24/7. And I have to work, so I can't do it. I have a couple of sisters that could, except for they can't pick her up. They're not in good health either. And so she did live with them until she started falling. And we got Sam Gloves here saying hi to everybody. So hello, Sam. And Larice is telling you hi, Annabella. And so is Jerry. So we're glad to have you up. I usually don't get too many people. Oh, she took herself down. I didn't do it. I don't know what happened. But I don't want that picture up. There we go. I don't want to see the picture down there. I just want to. Where are we at? I may be behind on things here. Let me try this out. Okay, now we're up. Now we're up to where we should be. Huh. All right. Now, everyone, I haven't decided. It's still been a little cold for my taste for walking outside. It's fine, Annabelle. I'm glad you came up. If you want to come back up, come on back up. It's fine with me. Like I said, I don't know how long I'll be on tonight. It depends on how the thing goes. I've been known to be on here till quite late, and I don't think I've ever been on, well, outside of a spur of the moment live streams. I did a couple of those less than an hour. And two of the spur of the moment ones were less than an hour. I was checking something out to see if I could do it. That was my laptop because I was getting ready to go back home to visit my mother. And I wanted to know if I had to cancel doing live streams because, I do it on my desktop. And I didn't know if I could do it on my laptop. I got it set up that I could so I could continue doing my live streams while on time. And so I know I can do that now. I know I can sit in my living room and do my live stream and look at but I don't know how well it would work for me to have it on the TV. Now, I know it would be up there, but I think I would have to conduct it through the laptop. And whatever medium that you're using to conduct your live stream, the picture on the other media device is slower, and the words is faster. So I just assume do it here than on my TV in my living room, because I'd be looking at the TV so much I'd be behind on everything. So here I got the picture. It's up to date. The I'll tell you here in a minute. The chat I have on my cell phone, and it's a lot quicker on my cell phone than it is on my computer. So that's why, like I said, I take the picture where I don't see the picture. All I see is the chat on my cell phone. And so anyway, I just wanted to talk. Like I said, we got to take care of ourselves. And like I said, I think a lot of you've already seen not all of you maybe, but the video where, let me do this, where these spots are precancerous. They're not cancer, but they're precancerous. And I had to get that taken care of. And the reason why I have so many of them is, well, I'm a big fan of convertibles and motorcycles. And I'm from Indiana. We don't have to wear a helmet. I used to ride motorcycles. I rode a 750. And we didn't have to wear a helmet in Indiana. So my forehead and my face and my hands and all that was exposed to the sun a lot. I've had a couple convertibles, and I've had a couple cars that had the sunroof, so that would be open during the day. So that got my head a lot. That's why there's so many spots up there. And that's why, I got those spots up there, and I started getting treatment for it because I don't want it to turn cancer. My father had skin cancer on the back of his neck. Now, he had it removed, and it never came back. He had to have it checked. I think it was every 6 months for a while. Then it was like once a year for a while until they finally declared him cancer-free of it. Now, skin cancer can kill people, but it's got to really get bad before it will do that. Good morning, Charmaine. How you doing? Welcome to the channel. And Charmaine, if you want, type in LLL, and my Nightbot will drop your channel link. So if you want your channel link, go ahead and do that. If you want, come on up and we'll talk. Annabelle came up earlier for just a little bit. And but like I said, there you go. That's all you got to do right there. It'll take a moment, but it will pop it up for you. See, there it is. And so I'm glad to see it. Like I said, anybody that wants to do that, you can do it anytime throughout the live stream. I have no problem with it. That's why I have that night button. That's why I made it that easy to have everything pop up. And so right now, you're busy, huh? Well, okay. Well, that happens. Yeah, Jerry. I wasn't a big rebel. I mean, I didn't start riding bikes till later in life. I rode a 350 for a short period of time. First bike I ever rode. And I only rode it a couple times. It belonged to a friend. And the 750 was the first bike I ever bought. And I had to really learn how to ride a bike that way. It was a road bike, if you know the difference. There's dirt bikes, road bikes, and what I call crotch rockets. Those are the speed bikes. A road bike is made for long distance travel. It'll get up real good speed. Mine would do over 100 miles an hour. I've had it up over 90 a couple times, but only when I was on the throughway and I had a semi coming up behind me. I'd kick it way up just to get away from the semi because I didn't want them blowing by me. I just didn't want them going past me. That was all there was to it. But I rode in my sister and brother-in-law. My oldest sister and brother-in-law had a convertible. I rode in them. But I bought my first convertible when I was 21. It was a 68 Chevelle Super Sport 396 3-speed turbo hydro automatic on the floor. And I had that when I was in the Navy out in San Diego, California. And then my last actual convertible was an 85 Ford Mustang. It was a 4-speed on the floor. Now, I ended up, that car body rusted out on me. I had to get rid of it. I had it for a few years. I had 68,000 miles. I needed something like 32,000 more miles, and it hit 300,000, but it just didn't make it. And so I had a 85 also. I bought a used car, an 85 Honda Prelude. And it had the sunroof, and I had that opened a lot. I used to drive my sister's, what was it, a 96 Camaro convertible. I drove it a lot. I also had a 2011 Camry with a sunroof, which I had it open a lot. Like I said, so I really, unless it was super hot and humid, those things were open or the tops were down. So, because I love the heat. I like the sun. And so I have to be more careful now. That's, like I said, that's why I wear a hat a lot. Now, this hat here doesn't do me any good out in the sun. There's just too many holes in it, lets too much sunlight in it. But it's a nice hat during the summer when it's hot out there. In the evening, you can wear it, and you get the breeze through it. I want to buy a different hat for the summertime that doesn't have all the holes up here on top and on the brim, only the holes on the side there to let the air through. That'll help me a lot more. But like I said, I'm going to tell you the truth, people. I love the heat. So I'm outside a lot during the summer. I just got to dress a little more appropriate. My arms, so far, I have no spots of skin cancer. My hands do. So I really got to take care of them. And I enjoy the walking in the sun. And so when I go to a beach, I sit in the shade. I don't go swimming because I burn real easy. And you can't really wear a lot of protection. I guess in the Philippines, I could wear a long sleeve shirt, get something to put on my head to keep my head covered. I could do that. But here in the States, that's kind of frowned upon. And if you go to swimming pool, it's not allowed. They won't let you do it in the swimming pool. And we have a swimming pool here on site. And, the lady that works as the caretaker of it, I was down doing my laundry, maybe a month ago. The lady said, "Oh, you're new here." And I said, "Well, I've been here almost 2 years." She goes, "Well, how come I haven't seen you at the pool?" She goes, "I run the pool during the summer. I'm retired," she said, "and that's what she does part-time." Well, I showed her told her about the skin cancer and stuff like that I go through. So she understood. I said, "Yeah." I said, "You're not open in the evening when I could go and enjoy it." I said, "But hey, Eddie, how you doing, man? Come on up if you like." But, where I can go up and enjoy it, they're closed. And I mean, she's the only one working there, so I understand that. And, but like I said, the only way I'm going to go swimming is if I can do it in the evening or do it inside right now. So, and the gym I belong to, I need to either start using it or cut my membership. Doesn't have a pool, but they do have the treadmill. They do have the stair climbers, which is one of the things I want. But Jerry, they're supposed to get up. Now, it may be a day I'm working, but it's supposed to get up around close to 60 one day this week. And if it makes it on one of my days off, I will get out and do a walking video. It'll probably be at one of the parks. But it may be on a day I'm working. And if it's a day I'm working, I might have to, if I do one, I'll probably do it around here where I live. But we'll have to wait and see what the weather does. But yeah, it's supposed to get up around 61 day this week. So we'll see. I'm thinking it's supposed to be around Thursday, which I work Thursdays. But hopefully it'll still be really nice on Wednesday. I'll be able to get out and do a walking video then. Probably put it up later in the week. And but we'll see. I do enjoy the walking videos. I do have a video I'm going to put up for next week talking about the laundromat. I went to do my laundry the other day, and it was closed here on site. And the reason why it was closed is they had a water pipe break, and it flooded the laundry, so they had to shut it down, repair the the water pipes, and from my understanding, they were also replacing a lot of wiring. And so I don't know if it's going to be open. If it's going to be open this week when I go do my laundry or not. I'm talking about it on the day I did my laundry last week. And, saying I had to go somewhere else. And I showed the picture of so in the video. It's a short. It's only about a minute long. And, yeah, Jerry, I know where you're at. 60s cold. But where I'm at this time of year, 60s warm. Now, 60s cold during the summer or cool. Depends on your outlook. To me, it's cold. But this time of year, February, that's warm, buddy. The other day, one day last week, what day was that? Thursday or Friday? I want to say Thursday. And I'm talking last week now, not this week. It got down to, Celsius, it was minus 26 Celsius. It was and then we're not talking wind chill. This is actual temperature. And it was minus 15 Fahrenheit. So you want to talk cold, that's cold, buddy. And I actually layered up. It was Thursday or Friday. I can't remember which day. But it was so cold, I actually put layers on. And that's not me normally. I was wearing thermal underwear and a shirt, a sweatshirt, and a jacket, and my normal winter jacket with a sweatshirt and a shirt underneath it, so to stay warm. And my insulated boots. During the winter, if it gets cold, I wear my insulated boots. Now, it's only been in the 20s and 30s this week, so I'm just wearing my tennis shoes. So I'm not wearing the boots because right now it's not cold enough. Now, today got up in the upper 30s. I know, Jerry, that's freezing to you. But like I said, compared to last week, that's kind of warm. Feels good. But I'm inside. So when I got home today, it was only 30. Now I got up to a high of 38, but I was inside the building all day. I get home and it's 30 degrees. Now, when I went in, it was 27. So like I said, we're getting warmer each day, or we're supposed to be. Today, the high was about 38. I think tomorrow is going to be about 40. And like I was telling Jerry there, if everything goes right by Thursday, in some areas, it's going to get up to about 60, 58 almost everywhere, and 60 in a couple of places. Now, they can get in the 50s on. Hello, Michelle. How you doing? If it can get in the 50s, I'll go walking. If it's not raining. I mean, if it's raining, 50's cold. I know it's 50's cold to you anyway, Jerry, but, to me, for January, anywhere from like the end of November till somewhere in the middle of March, that's warm. You don't normally get that warm, but I'll take it. I mean, I've seen it get up in the 70s, but that's an anomaly. It's not the normal. Just like when it was down to that minus 15 in Fahrenheit and minus 26 or whatever it was Celsius, that's an anomaly. It doesn't usually get that cold either, but it does do it occasionally. And so, like when I left this morning, it was spitting snow. And it's kind of like I said, it was down around 23 or so when I left this morning, maybe 27, but it was down around 23, I think. And I'm with Eddie. I'm with Jerry and you both. I like the 80s and 90s. You know, when I finally do retire, and finally do decide to move away from where I'm at right now, it's going to be somewhere warmer. And yeah, you're right. They would think it's cold because they're used to the 80s and 90s. So anything down around 70 is going to be cold to them. You're expecting snow on Monday, Eddie? Woo! I'll tell you what, you can have it. You can have it. I'm trying to remember who's had a short. They were, might have been Larice, but I can't remember for sure. Somebody was showing a short of rain. And they were talking about it. And I said, you know, to me, I prefer the rain over snow any day of the week. And yeah, I'll Well, Christy, thank you for the shout out. And everybody, Christy's telling you all hi. Now, Christy, if you have a YouTube channel, put in LLL and with nothing else, and my Nightbot will drop your channel link. That way I don't have to go back and forth and try to give somebody new a jacket. Just anybody wants to put in 3 L's, whether they're capital or small letters, it doesn't matter. As long as there's 3 out, there you go, Chrissy. That's perfect. And my Nightbot will drop your link here, and it'll be coming up here in just a second for you. You might already see it. It just, like I said, my chat on my cell phone is faster than my chat on my desktop, but the picture on my cell phone is behind the picture on my desktop. So I have my desktop up for the picture and my cell phone for the chat. So I can see things going on. And so, like I said, anybody, you know, I want y'all to know. Now, Eddie, you're just trying to make Jerry and I jealous now. You see that, Jerry? He's bragging 23 more days and he'll be in the Philippines or on his way to the Philippines. He's just trying to make us jealous. I don't even know how many days it will be before I can even think about going to the Philippines. And I tell you what, I'd go today if I could. But, you know, like I said, my situation won't let me do it. I think even after my mother passes, I won't be able, unless it's quite a few years from now, I won't be able to go right away. I want my bills paid off. I want money saved up so when I go over there, I'm not living month to month. If something happens and I don't get a check for a month or two, I want the month in the bank. I want money in the bank so I can cover my bills. So, but I would like to, if I could, go over there and visit before I move over, if I could move. Yes, people, I've been to the Philippines, but it was many, many years ago. A lot of you may not even been born yet. Now, Jerry was probably born, but he was very, very, and Eddie both were very, very young. I'm not even going to guess on the Filipinas here in the chat. I don't have any clue how old they were. But let me put it to you all this way. It was well over 40 years ago, okay? That's how long it's been since I've been in the Philippines. I was in the United States Navy. I've been there a couple times. I worked with a lot of Filipinos. They were in the Navy with me. They were in my own division. We worked side by side. Some of them were my bosses. I got along great with them. I met a lot of their families. They were great people. And so that's why I said I really have a lot of respect for the Filipinos that I knew. So that translates to I have a lot of respect for the Filipinos that I don't know. I do know there's scammers there, but there's scammers here in the United States. But so that's just the way things is. That's the way life is. There's scammers everywhere, male and female. There's people there who are trying to rip you off in a heartbeat, not care how bad they leave you broke. There's others who give you the. Let me turn that down a little bit. There's other would give you the shirt right off their back to keep you, to help you out, and so it all kind of balances out. I think there's more good people in the world than bad, but you're always hearing about the bad people because they make the most noise and make the most news. Because people doing good doesn't make the news very often. People doing bad make the news all the time. So you hear about the bad a lot, which makes you think, oh, it's really bad. It's not. Stop and think about it. You hear about all the crime here in the States. And there are places that you don't want to live if you don't have to. But that doesn't make the whole place bad. That just makes that area bad, It's like my hometown. There's certain parts of my hometown when I was younger was pretty good, but it's over years it's gotten bad. And there's parts of my hometown I wouldn't want to live in. But I know those places and I can avoid them. It's not always that case when you go somewhere new. Yeah, Jerry, I know you were there for you, it was a long time ago. For me, it was a short time ago. So you're going back in December? That's cool, Jerry. I look forward to your videos. Too bad you weren't doing vlogging back in 2018 and 19 because I saw some of those, but you didn't have too many because you weren't really vlogging. For some of you that don't know me that well, when I start following a person, I try to go back. I used to go back and watch all of them, but I got too many people I'm trying to follow now that I can't do that unless they've been vlogging for a short period of time. But I'll try to go back a month or two and watch your videos going forward, just to get an idea about you, what's going on. And if you don't have too many, I'll even go back farther than that. I've gone back 6 months to a year. If a person doesn't vlog a lot, there's somebody else I just caught up with, and I've checked them out, and I went back till the time they started, but it was less than a year, and they don't vlog very much. So it's, if it's doable, I'll do it. There's others that have only been doing it for a couple of months, and I can't do it. They just they're vlogging all the time, and I just can't. There's just too many people that I want to follow and want to support. So I have to watch what I do, and I have to be judicious with my time, so I try to catch somebody, at least a couple of videos of everybody every month. Sometimes I don't, but I try to catch at least one every month. And some people I'll try to catch one every week if they vlog a lot. Sometimes it's just shorts. There's times I'll go to a live stream and I may be busy, but I'll put up their live stream just to help out if they, because I don't know everybody that needs the hours or not. So if I follow you and you're doing a live stream and I'm not busy doing something else, I've been known to put up a live stream and just tell you, hey, I'm going to be in the background. I'm going to be busy. I do it when I'm at work. I do it here at home. I try to help out. No direct flights from where you're at, huh? Yeah. But for me, I try to help people that I find their content interesting. I'm going to tell you right now, if you don't like my content, don't follow me. I have no problem with you coming in to the live stream and saying hi to people and dropping your link. But don't come in and follow me and expect me to follow you. I may or I may not. I'm not going to, that's the way it is. If your content is not along the line of my way of things I want to check out or things I find interesting, I probably won't follow. I don't mean to be crude or rude, but that's just the way it is. Because if you follow everybody that follows you, and some of y'all probably already know this, you have a couple thousand followers or more. That's a lot of people to be following. How do you ever keep up with them? And I was, for a while, following a lot of people that followed me, but I got to where I could not keep up with everybody. I mean, I'm working 40 hours a week. Then I got my own live stream to do. And so I dropped a few people because I just wasn't interested in their content. Some of them are here in the United States. But, hey, Robert, come on up if you want, brother. But they're farmers, and I'm not into farming, so I'm not really going to watch a show about farming. I'm sorry, it's just not me. There are some people I already go in and check out a video now and then, but they don't do a lot of videos, and they live a different lifestyle, which is fine. I'm interested in that, but I'm going to tell you this right now. If I ever move to the anywhere outside of the United States, including the United States, let's be honest about it, including the United States, I'm not living in the country. I am not a country boy. I got to be near, if not in, I got to be near a big city. I prefer being near, not in. I like the fact that I can, how should I say this, pop in to the bigger city for entertainment when I want it, and be in a quieter, smaller town when I don't want it.
Wait a minute.
What do you mean, wait a minute?
That's a news flash.
What?
You're not a hillbilly.
It depends on what you call a hillbilly.
You's a city slicker.
Oh, I wouldn't call myself a city slicker.
I'm teasing, Larry.
I know, but I'm saying I wouldn't call myself one.
How you doing this week?
But like I said, I do like the smaller town. My hometown's only about 70,000 people, 80,000 people or so. That's all it is.
He's just a small town boy. Got that, folks?
Yeah. But like I said, that's, but I in less than an hour, I could be in Indianapolis, which is, almost 1 million people.
I used to live outside of Philly, and we used to call it going to the big city every day, to dance across the oyster, grab the pearls, and come home to the burbs at night.
Yeah.
Very popular thing to do.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, with me, it's just.
I know the city's far too urban and the country's far too rural. You want a little bit of structure and a whole lot of nice place with a little bit of.
Cousin George was a country boy, and we're the same age. So I used to go out in the country and visit him, even stay. He has 5 acres out in the country, and he's only 15, 20 minutes away from the city. But I don't like that style of life. That's too far out because it's all farmland or just rows of houses, nothing else. Where my place in Terre Haute the one place I lived in Terre Haute that I really liked, that was my own. I was a block from a laundromat. What was it? 3, maybe 4 blocks from the gas station. I'm talking about places I could walk, get a soda, get a cup of coffee, get my cigarettes. I smoked back in those days. I was 2.5 blocks from a grocery store. I was about 4 blocks from a Dairy Queen. So during the summer, late spring, summer, and early fall, that was just short walk over, get yourself an ice cream or a milkshake and walk around. And I like that. I like being able to walk to places. And that's why I say I like a big town or a small city to live in near a bigger city. Because I like having the conveniences that if I don't want to go in the city for something, I don't have to. I got everything I want in the town I'm in or the small city I'm in. Well, however you want to look. Because I mean, we had a really good shopping mall. We had plenty of restaurants to go to, movie theaters. You know, we had everything we really needed in Terre Haute, unless you wanted to go to a professional ball game or something like that. But we had college ball I could go to, Division One. So, like I said, unless I really wanted to go somewhere, I was set where I was at, and I like that. I mean, but like I said, if I wanted to go for anything, let's say I just wanted to go to the big city to have some fun in a different town, it wasn't that far of a drive. I actually would prefer it to be a little closer than what it was. Like where I lived here in New York, when I lived up between Buffalo and Rochester, about a half an hour or so, I was in either city. I could go either direction and be downtown either city. Now, I'm going to tell you the truth. I went to Buffalo more than I went to Rochester if I was going downtown, unless I was going downtown for work, because our office was down there. So, I mean, if I was just plus the VA, if I didn't want to go to the clinic, that was a hospital. But for if you were going to be seen by the doctor and you weren't admitted, it was an outpatient clinic or admitted to hospital. There was no emergency room. If you had to go to the emergency room, you went to Buffalo. As most procedures, if it was not just one of these easy clinic procedures, you had to go to Buffalo. So I went to Buffalo a lot just to go to the VA, if nothing else. Because some of them I could go to Rochester, but I just preferred Buffalo over Rochester. The main reason there was parking. Rochester was a newer facility than Buffalo. But man, you go in there, it was a nightmare trying to find parking. Buffalo, it was tough to find it, but they had a lot more spaces. They had a parking garage and all that, so it made it easier. Now they expanded the one in Rochester, so it's probably easier now than it was then. Because you remember, I've been down here a couple of years now. But hey, Tim, how you doing, sir? Tim Desik's here. We got Robert Simmons. Like I said, anybody wants to come up can come up. Now, Tim doesn't usually come up. Leonard will come up if he comes in. Robert has been up here before, Robert Simmons. Excuse me. Eddie's been up here before, but he didn't come in very often. And Mac Daddy, Tim just told you hi.
Hi, Tim. How you doing? I can't see anybody in the background's chat because I'm on my phone. So, hello, everybody.
All right. I'm trying to see how I could turn this speakers up.
Leonard might be sleeping. He spends a lot of time online.
Yeah.
God bless him.
Hey, look, if I was retired, I'd be on here a lot more. I'd either be on here or I'd be out running around. This is cheaper. Yeah, I believe that. Now, your guys' town, Buffalo, Jerry was probably named because of the Buffaloes. I don't know how Buffalo got their name. I don't know if Buffalo ever roamed this part of the country. I really don't know.
Buffalo runs all over the United States.
Well,
they're like
I still don't know why they named Buffalo because they weren't crossing any rivers in Buffalo. I mean, because you got those lakes there, so that would pretty much stop them from migrating north. Because you got that big river, and then you got a couple lakes right there. Now there was other ways to go. But I just don't know. I mean, Now, Eddie, my hometown, they don't have it anymore, but there was a guy that used to have a herd of buffalo on his property, and he bred them, and then they sold the meat, and he actually would take the buffalo chips, shellac them and sell them, and made money doing that too. Now he sold the farm, and he had this other business, and the people that bought it turned out the guys that bought it was actually a embezzler and got caught and had to sell everything. So I don't know what ever happened to the buffalo. I know they don't raise them anymore there, but they had an ice cream place there called Green Acres. For those of you old enough to remember the TV show, but I don't think it was named after that. It could have been. But they had great ice cream, and it was still open last time I was home. But yeah, the guy bought a few business. I mean, he was an embezzler. Like I say, he got caught. But he bought that property, that place, and then I used to work at A&W Root Beer Stand. Well, he bought that place, and so he ended up having to sell. They had to sell everything to get some of that money back that he embezzled, so they could reimburse the people he embezzled from.
Oops.
So that was it. Go ahead. What?
I said, oops. I hate when that happens.
What, when he embezzled or got caught? Yeah, if I was doing it, I'd hate getting caught. That's for sure. I got to figure out I'll have to get the information on that and figure out how to turn these things up.
Your speaker's plenty loud. You're coming through wall to wall and
No, I'm not talking about my mic.
Oh,
I'm talking about my earbuds.
oh, those things.
Yeah. They were louder the other day, but I turned them down, and I don't know how to turn them up. And so I got to get the paperwork out and read it. I don't know if it's through the case.
You can go on YouTube and look at a video.
Well, I got the paperwork. It's just in a different room. And so now this is a case here where they, I can set it on a recharging pad. They can be recharged wirelessly, or they can be charged through a hookup here. I can plug them in as well, and the case itself will recharge them some for a little bit of time. I can't remember exactly how long, but it's got a charge in there that when I put them back in there, it recharges them. So
Yeah, my son has a couple pairs of them.
I just have the one. I got another pair of what they call bone conductor. You don't have to put them on your ears. You just put them right here beside your ears, and it's the sound goes through the bone, and you hear it just like you would if you had it on your ear. But it leaves your ears open to hear other things. So it's like you're listening without wearing them, except for that you are. But hey, Crystal, how you doing? I'm sorry I didn't see you come in. I was busy running my mouth like normal. And Anne from Crystal Adventures saying hi to everybody.
Hi there.
So we're it's just doing what we do. And like I said, it's Sunday there, so don't always get a lot of people. I have thought about doing one during the day, our time day, which would be their time, the Philippines evening, on my days off. But if I'm going to do that, it's going to be after the time change, and I'll have to decide when to do it. Yeah, Jerry, bison is good eating. It's lean. It's a lot leaner than cow. Probably pretty close to like deer. Deer meat's very lean.
No, it ain't like deer. Oh God, no.
No, I'm not talking about taste. I'm talking about being lean.
Yeah.
How little fat they really have. There's not much fat on a buffalo.
My neighbor eats it. She's into organic food, and everything's got to be special. And I asked her, "Why are you always eating buffalo? They're always buying bison and eating it." I said, "What do you think? What do you think they're doing? Shooting these things from the back of trains, wandering across the prairie?" And she looked at me and said, "Yeah, why?" I laughed my ass off. I said they raise them just like they do cattle.
Yeah, that's fact. There's some that are there are some bison that is hunted, but very little. It's limited, and that's to keep these herds that the government controls.
Yeah,
If they start getting overpopulated, they'll let people go in and hunt.
they're
But
typically
they're
not
limited.
for commercial food, though. The ones that are sold for commercial food have
No, yeah, that's
veterinarian history and stuff.
yeah, yeah. But I'm just saying, though, there is some that are hunted, but you're right. That's done on a very limited basis, and the person that pays for that's going to want that meat. And he's going to want to hide and all that other. Because I mean, they only give out a very, and I don't know if they do it every year, but they just give out very few lottery tickets, or however you want to look at it. And but all right, Ann, if you're still there, we'll see you when you get back. She said she'd be back later. She's at church still, so she doesn't want, she wants to hang up. And like I said, this is the church time for. Like I said, right here, it's going on 9. It's going on 10 in the Philippines.
My uncle had a couple of bison in his mix of cows that he had. I wouldn't call it really a herd of cows, but he had like a dozen cows or so.
Yeah.
And he had some bison, and he had some really good charolais. You want to ever eat a steak? A charolais steak is incredible.
No, it's a Charolais. Is it a style of cow or?
It's a type of cow. It's similar to the Wagyu meat that you get, but he didn't really raise them in Wagyu fashion. It's a steak with incredible marbling and really good eating. And then there's all kinds of different cows and stuff.
Oh yeah. And I'm sure they all have a little bit different in their taste, and also what they eat will affect how they taste.
Well, yeah, his were all premium grass and grain fed.
Yeah, well, that's said. I mean, whether some are just all grass fed and some are got grain,
but they generally raise them on grass and finish with grain.
Yeah, but I'm just saying though, But well, not the Kobe steaks they're fed beer.
Well, yeah. You know what they used to feed the cows in the autumn around here was rice hulls and apple peels. Because the cider press they would mix, they'd peel the apples to process them, and then they'd mix them with rice hulls and press them to make cider. And when they were done pressing all that product, my uncle would buy it by the truckload. And you get it in, it smells great. Oh, the apple smells incredible. And as it would ferment, he's still feeding this stuff by the wheelbarrow load to the cows. And a couple days into it, you got to be careful how much you're giving them because they get drunk off it.
Yeah.
Because it develops an alcohol content. And if you give them too much, you mess the cows up because they get the runs. So, they feed them all kinds of stuff. Let me tell you, whatever you can. But it was a cheap way to feed his cattle.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Like you said, as long as you watch what you're doing, I'm sure probably the first year or two that somebody did it, that's how they discovered you got to watch what you're giving them.
Oh, sure. Well, he had all kinds of veterinarian recommendations and stuff. He had a regular vet come out. Oh, he raised a lot of veal. Veal was his big thing.
Yeah.
Hand feeding calves a milk mix and a little nipple hanging off a bucket every day. He had probably 20 or 30 head of veal.
Yeah. But
dinner time for the veal on the farm was kind of interesting. You hang 20 buckets on a fence and they all come running out.
Yeah. Well, they get used to when the time is. Everybody talks about the time change. I'm sorry, that cow doesn't care what time it is by the clock. They know when it's time to be milked. Well, they're going to go in and get milked at the same time every day, all year round, probably.
Yeah, he didn't have a lot. He didn't have a lot of dairy.
No, I'm just saying, though, those cows want to eat. Well, it's the same thing. It's dinner time. They don't care if it's 4 or 5. It's
Well,
dinner time.
they get milk twice a day usually, once in the morning and
Yeah,
once.
yeah. But I was talking about the veal calves. They knew what they knew. There was an internal clock that told them it's time to be fed, and they would be coming running because it was time to be fed.
Well, they get used to the light of the day, and they kind of go by the lighting, and you make noise around them. Yeah, they'd all come running because they thought it was time to eat, and they all lived in little igloos too.
Yeah.
They were let loose for a length of time, and then because you're raising veal, you keep them kind of corralled up, and they got these little plastic like igloos they live in. Looks like a big doghouse.
Now Eddie's saying, I guess he's talking about New Mexico. They have a Oryx, Oryx, where he's at. They were brought from Africa, and it's once in a lifetime hunt. They say it's the best wildlife meat. Now Jerry says they got Nilgai, Nilgai, is another tasty mammal from India. There's a lot of them just north of here, thanks to the King Ranch. And but like I said, depends on where you're at, what's available to eat.
There's ostriches out here in western Pennsylvania. I could buy emu eggs and ostrich eggs.
Yeah.
An ostrich egg is $30.
Yeah, well, that's a big egg too, though.
Well, they eat them and they make omelets out of them. Supposedly, it's like, no, thank you for me, but they're quite popular.
Well, if it's an egg and it's not, and I mean it's still an egg that's not been fertilized, I'd be willing to try it.
They drill a hole in it and get the egg out, and then there's a value to the actual ostrich egg shell when it's empty.
Now, I got to ask Jerry a quick question. He says, my internal clock tells me at 8 p.m. is my bedtime. Now, Jerry, does that change when the clock changes? So, in other words, when we change the clock later, will it be 9 o'clock instead of 8 o'clock? Because later on, when we change our clocks, we spring forward. So that means we move up an hour. So right now it would be going on 10 instead of 9 here. And it'd be going on 9 where Jerry's at. And Jerry says the emu egg is good. Shell is a bluish color.
Yes.
But Jerry, now, could you answer that question for me? At the change of the clock, does it change the bedtime from 8 to 9? Because now, like I said, right now I'm going on 8, would be going on 9 after the time change. All right, it says 8 p.m. regardless. So it says 8, he's ready to go to bed, period. All right. Well, that's fine, Jerry. That question I had, I didn't know. I find it tougher to go to bed at this time than I will once the clock changes. But for me, when the clock changes, it takes me a little while to adjust to it. It really does. So
I definitely keep different hours in different parts of the year.
Yeah. Well, like I said, when the clock changes, it changes how, for a couple of weeks or so, how it affects me. And that doesn't matter which way it goes, it's going to affect me for a couple of weeks usually. And I prefer the time change we're getting ready to go to. I prefer that. I hate going into work in the dark and coming home in the dark during the winter. And now it's still going to happen working 7 to 7 on the weekends, but I work 7 to 3 and I'm going home by the time I get home at 4 sometimes it's dark. And that's a bit ridiculous if you ask me, because it was pitch black when I went into work. So I'm really not crazy about that. And that's mainly that. That plus also, I like the fact that once the time changes, it's easy to keep track of the time in the Philippines or the time in China, because then it's exactly 12 hours. Instead of being 13, you know. And I know I can do the 13. I have that capability of doing that math. I find it easier going, oh, it's 8 o'clock here, it's 8 o'clock there, but it's in the evening or it's in the morning. And so, no big whoop. But now, all right, now, Jerry, there's a difference there, though, at 3 or 4. Unless it just depends on how you slept that night. That's an hour difference. But you don't get a lot of sleep then. Well, yeah, you get about 7 to 8 hours sleep. That's a lot. That's quite a bit. I can't go to bed 8 o'clock at night. Man,
Well,
that is
it's
tough.
scheduled too, Bar. It's
Well, it's what you're used to.
well, it's the hours you work, so you're not up as early necessarily.
Well, I get up around 5:30 in the morning. All right, because I work 7. I got to get up, take my shower, brush my teeth, get dressed, make sure my coffee and whatever else I'm drinking that day and my lunch bag is packed, eat my breakfast. All that stuff's got to be done before I leave. And I leave my house by 6:30. So I'll only give myself an hour to get ready, which isn't more than enough time for me. But, I would prefer to work 8 to 4. That would fit my internal clock better. But, I'll eventually get adjusted to it. Right now, I sleep in on quite a bit on my days off, and I'm going to have to try to break that habit. Still sleep in, but try not to sleep in as late as I've been sleeping. I've been sleeping till 9, 10 o'clock because I don't go to bed till midnight or later. That's just me, but I've always been that way.
I got one of them businesses that we operate whatever time of day we need to, mostly afternoon and early evening.
Yeah. Well, even when I was in the Navy, I rarely went to, if I was off, if it was one of my days off, and we're in port, I rarely went to bed before 3 o'clock in the morning, and I got up at 6:30. 6:30, 7 o'clock, somewhere in there, because I had to be at the post by 8. So, and then a lot of times, instead of eating lunch, I'd take a nap. And especially when I was working in the laundry, because I could just stay in the laundry where it's nice and quiet, take a nap, and when everybody got back, I'd get up and go back to work with them. I didn't have to worry about, I got to get up, make sure I'm back down there. I was just there. And so that made it kind of easy. All right, Jerry, you have a good night. I know it's time for you to go to bed. Like I said, you remind me of my sister. This is about her bedtime. My youngest sister. Everybody else in my family stays up later. She's the only one that goes to bed early. Yeah, my older sister goes to bed early too, but not as early as my youngest sister. She goes to bed around 9:30, 10 o'clock, something like that. My other sisters are up to 11, 12 o'clock at night. They get up late too. They're all 4 of my sisters are retired. My youngest sister works a couple days a week, but she doesn't have to. But she likes the job she's working. It's part-time. She's retired from her full-time job. Has been now for about 6 years. And she retired at 55, my youngest sister. And I got another sister retired at 55 and hadn't worked since 55, not even part-time. I understand, Jerry. You got to get your sleep. Like I said, my youngest sister's the same way. She said she'll tell you if she doesn't get her 8 hours of sleep, she's a bitch, and that's her words. She is very grumpy if she don't get 8 hours of sleep, and she goes to bed early because she likes to get up early. And then she'll go to the gym and work out and stuff like that. And I think her husband might sleep in a little bit longer. I could be wrong. I know they both go to the same gym and work out, but they don't always go at the same time. So I don't know. She may go early because she has to work that day or something. I'm not privy to that information. It's none of my business.
Boy, the gym out here is one big soap opera. You see them in the paper all the time. Fights in the
Steroids?
parking lot.
What, steroids?
Nah, they're all chasing the same rabbit.
Yeah.
They're all like having their love affairs at the gym while they're married and they're having fights in the parking lot.
Oh, that, yeah. I know a guy that he's well built. He worked out all the time. So did his wife. I thought she was gorgeous. She was really nicely built, and he was cheating on her. Naturally, they got a divorce, but I mean, here you got a woman that takes real good care of herself, nice looking, and you're an idiot. That's the way I look at it. I mean, I don't understand any guy. If you got a good woman, she treats you right, and you got a lot of things in common that you like to do together. Why in the heck you out chasing something else that's not as good?
Maybe it might be better.
Please. You're gambling that you and I'm talking about a good woman. I'm not talking about one that busts your balls all the time, give you a hard time. If you got a good relationship, what do you want to run it? Now, maybe it's not as good as it looks from the outside, but a lot more times it's because they're bored. They want to prove they can still pick somebody up. They want to prove they still have it. It's that macho thing. And and this happens too, but it's still stupid. The women start coming on to you because you're like I said, he was a well-built guy, in great shape, and so the girls might have been hitting on him, and he thought, why not? It's still stupid, but I just can't see it. Yeah, Jim, the grass always seems to be greener on the other side of the fence. But the thing is, the greener grass is what you water. If you take care of the grass, no matter which side of the fence you're on, it's going to be the greener grass. And so many people want to say, oh, well, I have this one here, but, that one's a little bit younger, or that one's a little bit bigger, chested, or that one's a little bit prettier, or that one's a little bit whatever. It's crazy.
Well, you know what they say, Larry?
What's
Marriage
that?
is the leading cause of divorce.
That's true. It is. It is. If you don't get married, you can't get divorced. So, yeah, it is the leading cause. And I saw Eddie write down the answer was 24, and I didn't see the question. I looked up, and I finally saw the question. Because how many chicken eggs make up an ostrich egg? 24.
Wow.
Like I said, I knew that ostrich egg was very big. $30, man. That's whoo. But at today's prices, that's not that bad for 24 eggs.
I've seen them cooking
It's
them.
a little high for where I'm at. I just got 18 eggs, and that cost me about $15, a little over 15.
They're gouging you.
Well, not. You want to see what they want for just a dozen? or half a dozen?
I'm paying $4.85 a dozen.
How much?
$4.85.
Yeah, but you're buying it from the farmer, not from the market.
I'm buying it in the supermarket. They're just not as expensive here in Western PA. They raise so many eggs here.
Yeah, that's true. You're. No,
I'm out
I
here in
don't
the
think
Laurel
they raise a lot
Highlands.
of chickens in New York. Now, milk, they have a lot of dairy cows in New York. Hey, Leonard, how you doing?
Well, we're like the dairy capital here in Western Pennsylvania.
I couldn't tell you. I know they got a lot of dairy farms in New York.
We got a lot of milk
Leonard up here
products.
with us.
Tonight.
How you
So
doing, Leonard?
I actually got a really good sense of the layout of the venue.
I'm good, thank you.
All right, somebody's got some noise on in the background.
Hallway. You see on your left a horseshoe-shaped bar. This is the main.
I
bar.
probably got to turn my TV down.
Drinks.
Hang on a
To the
second.
right was this much
Yeah.
larger space in front of the stage. You have 4 exits. There's an exit near the stage. You have an exit to the kitchen, one near the bar, and then the main exit.
But,
that hallway.
he's turning his TV down. Take a moment or two. I don't know how far away his TV is from me.
brothers Michael and Jeff Derry.
I'm far enough away from my TV. That makes sense to have it on. It's not on.
Their story starts
I
3
finally
years
got it.
before the fire.
Go ahead.
Here in Western PA, though, guys,
Couldn't play an instrument.
we got Hershey
The
here.
Derrys bought the club as an investment.
Yeah, you got Hershey there.
We got Hershey. We got Heinz. We got some really iconic American worldwide foods.
Well, like I said, New York has upstate farms, which is milk and dairy products such as ice cream and all that. That's not too far from where I used to live. But like I said, up by where my sister lives, there's all kinds of dairy farms. And, matter of fact, the county I lived in, Genesee County, had more cows than people.
Well, here's
More
something.
dairy cows than people. And
Hershey Foods owns all the pasta brands in the pasta aisle at the supermarket. And they own all the ice cream in the ice cream aisle. It's all
well,
under
that's in your area, not in my area.
what?
They don't own all the pasta or ice cream in my area.
They own all the pasta in your area.
No, they don't. There's some Italians that make pasta in we're up by Rochester.
I'm talking about all the big names: Ronzoni, San Giorgio, Bertola,
Bertola's the only one of those that
Dutch noodles.
I've never even heard of Pennsylvania Dutch noodles.
They're the egg noodles by the bag.
Oh, I know, but I mean, I've never heard of them.
Yeah, their Hershey Foods is huge in
So
the
we got,
national scene.
up where I used to live, you have Crafts up in
Well-
the area I lived in.
Well, Kraft is not Kraft; it's Kraft Heinz. They're the same company.
Yeah, but that's not Hershey.
Well, no, but that's what I'm saying. They're the other behemoth, Goliath, monster food company here in Western.
I used to live about 3 miles from a Kraft factory. The Cool Whip and all that stuff was there. And then Barillo or whatever it is.
Barilla
That's, pasta.
Then you have Crawley. Crawley is huge. They're Hirsch potato chips. Crawley's major in the dairy and ice cream thing also.
Yeah, I don't know the company. I may know their products. I just don't know the company.
Yeah, well, it's like you'd be surprised who owns who. Is my
that's what I'm saying.
Well, they're
I mean,
monopolies.
Hershey
well,
owns
similar to it, yeah.
literally 3/4 of the pie.
They are competitors, but they're so large. The little guy is bought out by one of the bigger ones. So you got to decide
Well,
who you
yeah.
want to sell to. A
And
lot of
the-
that
the
will
thing-
depend on what part of the country you're in.
Right.
That's who's going to be the biggest one. In that
But they're
country.
monopolies because they dictate the price.
Yeah, well, yeah, and especially in the pasta aisle, it's Hershey. The Hershey, and then you got the people behind all that. It comes up. It's ConAgra is huge.
Yeah, ConAgra, yeah, they're huge.
Yep.
But
They need
Tim,
to. They need to wake up all
Leonard,
those
Tim's
big companies.
telling you hi.
Hey Tim, how you doing, buddy?
But
If I like go to my local supermarket, even though I got 20 aisles of food, it's probably all owned by like 4 major food producers.
yeah,
That-
it's like most of your cereal. There's only like 2 or 3 major cereal
Huh?
brands.
Did you say Post?
Post. And
Marjorie,
there's
Marjorie Merriweather Post. She owns Bird's Eye Food. She's huge in the frozen food aisle.
well, I'm just saying, you got what is it? There's Post and there's General Mills, and
Right.
that's about it. Those are the 2 big ones. And
It's like the ice cream. If I go skipping down the ice cream aisle here,
I'm sorry to hear that, Tim. Tim says he's got a migraine right now.
Friendly's
Oh,
is
no.
Hershey. Hershey is Hershey. That's one. Do you have Friendly restaurants? They're owned by Hershey.
Not in my area.
Oh,
They did when I lived up in Rochester area. They had one.
Pillsbury's huge too. They're in the restaurant business. They used to own Olive Garden.
Well, the friendly that was down here a few years back is now a Denny's.
Boy, Denny's is a huge restaurant chain. They are
Well,
amazing big.
but the thing is with Denny's, a lot of them are
franchise.
thank you, franchises, and some of the franchises are huge.
Right.
There, back when I was about 3 years ago, just right around the pandemic when it first started, and just before that, there was a franchise. There was 2 franchisees in my area. All right, and one of them started shutting down, and the other one bought up not all their stores, but they bought some of their stores. And because a guy I worked with, he liked this one particular Denny's that him and his wife loved going to, but they were shutting down. And then I went by there, and they were doing a little remodeling, getting ready to open it back up. That's because the other franchisee bought that one. And I think they might have closed down a different one, but they bought that one. And I told him, I said, yeah, they're opening back up this Sunday or something. He said, well, my wife and I are going to have to go.
Well, a lot of
stayed
franchisees,
open.
a lot of
They
restaurants
already-
sold off the franchises so they could get under 200 employees so they don't have to provide medical benefits. So you got all these little franchise clusters all over the country of larger companies.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, though, some of these franchisees, I'm going to tell you right now, in my area, when I was living up in Rochester, Buffalo area, they had more than 200 employees. You know, now that maybe they cut back because the pandemic was coming, so they said, all right, we're just shutting these places down. And, you know, the ones I felt sorry for, this happened to a couple places up in Rochester. I'm sure it happened at other places as well. They just get done building their building, and they're just getting ready to open up, have their grand opening.
No, yeah.
And the pandemic, and they got to shut down. Now, you just spent a lot of restaurants take about 6 months or so to recoup the money you put in
Right.
to break even. Well, now you just shut them down for who knows how much longer, and they're still out that money, and they're losing more money because you still got the building,
Yeah.
and probably
They
still
gotta
have
pay
to,
they gotta pay the rent or the mortgage.
you got to pay
on it.
the rent or the utilities and all that still.
Yep.
Well, you're missing the other elephant in the room, and that is a lot of these restaurants shut down for the pandemic, and when they open back up, we still have not went back.
Well, yeah.
It's a real issue. We're just starting to go back to the restaurants again.
Well, the reason why a lot of people didn't go back was a lot of times the restrictions of where you could sit, the fact that you had to have a mask on so much of the time, you know,
In fact, a lot
maybe you go in with a large group. My family, we go in, we have to take 2 or 3 tables
Right.
when I lived up there. Well, you can't sit that close together. So you got one group here and another group 6 feet or more away. How are you going to have a conversation?
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, might as well eat at home and everybody can sit around the same table and talk.
a lot of employees also in the restaurant industry all got different jobs when they closed down for the pandemic because they had to survive. They might have even been better jobs, and they didn't go back, which meant the restaurant business is still retraining everybody.
Right.
Well,
It's
and the ones that survived the best had a lot of business before and continued it. Takeout, pizza places.
Yeah, they
well,
had
we don't
takeout
dine in
and
like we used
they
to.
let them eat outside.
Well, a lot of pizza places didn't have a lot of dine-in. That was mostly takeout in some of those.
Oh yeah, a lot of them don't have any
the
chairs
pizza
inside
place
at all.
I'm saying kids today, they don't want to go out and sit down and have a nice meal like we used to. They want to eat. They want to eat fast food in front of their game set. My son.
Yeah. Well, like I said, though, you take the pizza where the Pizza Land it's a small little, it's not a chain, but there's like 3 restaurants owned by this. I think it's the same family. It's called Pizza Land up in Rochester area. And they survived quite well. They had to shut down the eat in part, but the takeout helped them survive.
Well, the thing with pizza is that you probably got more takeout than they have eat in. So
Yeah, but I'm just saying, though, you even picked up more because people that wanted pizza. Well, you know, I want pizza. I don't want to. A lot of people don't want to bake it, or they don't want to buy the store bought and have to nuke it or put it in the oven.
right.
My private
And
club.
so you call up and tell them what you want, and then you go pick it up.
My private club after COVID to operate the bar and get the bar back open, we had to serve food for a while.
Yeah.
So everybody, you wouldn't believe how many people complained that they'd have to come into. If you wanted to be in our bar, you had to buy $1 hot dog,
Yeah.
and you could only eat 3/4 of it because there had to be food in front of you. Was the law here in Pennsylvania?
Oh yeah,
And
I believe it.
I not believe the war that caused at my club because we'd come in and tell people, you ate that, you got to buy another one. So it's another $1. Knock it off. Oh, my God. And we're just trying to be open, folks, and
Yeah.
abide by the Pennsylvania Liquor Control Board laws.
Now the Pennsylvania, your takeout for liquor, unless they've changed it, was a state-run store. You couldn't go to the grocery store and buy it. had to go to the state.
You can buy beer and wine now in grocery stores if they have a liquor license, and then they got to have 30 seats available to sit down and consume product at. So they've made all
You
the
couldn't buy it and take it
stores
home?
a food court. What?
Could you buy it and take it home?
Yes, you can buy it and take it home as well.
Yeah,
that's
here in
what I'm saying,
Texas,
but it used to be
here
you
in
couldn't do
Texas, you
that.
can't in grocery stores and stuff. You can't drink it in there. You have to
Yeah, well,
take it home.
Well, in Pennsylvania, the law states that you're allowed to drink on the premises, which means that if I buy takeout beer in a bar or a supermarket, the little known law says I'm allowed to sit in the parking lot and drink it. I'm not allowed to drive away intoxicated, meaning I'm not allowed to drink and drive,
Right.
but I'm allowed to consume it on the premises of which it was purchased.
Now,
Yeah. Not like
in
that here.
Indiana, if they want a bar wants to be open on Sunday, food has to be so much of their business. There's got to be a certain percentage.
They had that here in Pennsylvania and did away with it. A lot of the bars used to get around that by the bar owner would go next door and buy a couple of pizzas and put them out for free public food
Yeah.
and serve liquor on Sundays. But
It would cost a lot more than a couple of pizzas in Indiana.
Yeah.
You had to sell, not give away. You had to sell a certain percentage of your income had to be food.
well, they
So
skirted that.
it was like 10. It wasn't a lot. It really wasn't a lot, but you still had to be like 10 or 15% of your average sale for the day.
So you had to have,
Had to be food.
like nachos or hot dogs or
Yeah,
hamburgers
you
or
had to
something.
serve some kind of food.
Well,
A
in
lot of
Pennsylvania,
places-
the bar owners, like I was saying, would skirt that. They'd go to the pizza place down the street and get 2 for $10 pizzas. And when they ran out of pizza, they'd go down and buy a couple more.
Yeah, but did
Yeah.
they sell the pizza?
They'd give it away.
No, it wouldn't work in Indiana. That's against the law.
Yeah.
You
You
can't
have
give
to.
away
se-
food.
You have to sell the food. So
Well-
they could go buy it from someplace else, but they would have to sell it to the customers, not give it
Well,
to them.
Well, either or. I mean, there's
No,
just
no, I'm saying in Indiana,
Hey, Larry,
it had to
how
be
are
part
you?
of your sales.
there's simple. Well, technically in Pennsylvania, they'd tell you had to sell it, but if there's pizza there, it's a question of whether it's being picked up or being sold.
But
Yeah.
no, your sales receipt, they could check your sales receipt.
Well, it might be.
You had to have it on there as food.
It could be free pizza with the purchase of a beer, or make a combo out of it, a beer and a slice.
Probably a combo. But
Right.
what a lot of places did in Indiana. Hey, DeVal, how you doing, man? Long time no see.
Well, just put out a
lot
hot
of
dog
people
bowl.
in Indiana. What a lot of places did was they did the hot dogs,
Yep.
they did the nachos, but we had one. I went to a bar that was called the Ballyhoo, and it was the campus grew up around it. ISU campus, Indiana State University campus. It used to be off campus, but now there's a lot of campus buildings around it. But what they started doing was selling pizza. And they would started delivering it so they could hit that. Like I said, it wasn't real high, but it was like 10, 15% of your business had to be food. And when
Well-
they started selling delivery, that's when they hit it. Because
You could-
if you were
you
selling
could
it to the people
also-
that just wanted pizza and a beer, you didn't sell enough. So they
Well, you
started
could
delivery,
also
and that's when they hit the amount they needed to be open on Sunday.
Larry, you could also misring it.
Yeah.
Your
Well-
bartender's ringing it up. Oops, she hit the food key and not this drink key. And
Hey,
who would
Larry? Maurice wants a jacket.
Well, I'll give you one. Let's see if I can do it. I don't. No. Yep, I did it. I wasn't sure if I could.
So Larry,
Maurice.
I sent you some of that George Carlin stuff this week. I was falling over watching them.
Yeah, those are great.
That and Sam.
I really liked the first one you sent me. Of
And Mac
Carlin's.
Daddy, Larissa is telling you hi.
Hi, how you doing? Good to see you. Yeah, the food thing's kind of like a lot of Pennsylvania's slowly revolving its liquor laws. Years ago, you couldn't have beer in a grocery store. Now you can, but there's certain things. Even in the convenience stores, we have a company out here similar to Wawa called Sheets. And all they did was put tables on their sidewalk so you can buy your food in the convenience store and go out and sit on their sidewalk in the nice weather at one of their tables and have a beer and a sandwich.
Well, like I said, it used to be restaurants that had, were a restaurant bar where pretty much 50-50,
Yeah.
or maybe even more towards the restaurant part were open on Sundays. But like I said, what happened was a lot of these places said, oh, like you said, a hot dog. You start selling hot dogs and chips and or fries. You don't have to sell a lot. Like I said, it was only like 10% of your business. And like I said, I know a couple places that they were serving food before, but it wasn't that much. Then they started delivery, and once they started the delivery, they hit the quota. Now, the places that didn't have any trouble at all was your pizza places.
Well, you now can deliver beer here in Pennsylvania as well. You got to buy a special license. That's a rider on your liquor license.
I don't know if you can like I said, you got to remember now, I've been out of Indiana for over 25 years. I left there
Yeah.
in 96. All right. And it's been a long time. You couldn't even buy takeout on Sunday.
Yeah, it used to be that way, and used to be that way here. I don't know if you can now or not.
I don't know about, like I said, in Indiana, I don't know.
Well,
But it used to be you
tomorrow
couldn't.
is the largest takeout pizza day in the United States.
Yep.
For
It's going to be
Super Bowl.
Biggest
Yeah,
biggest TV day in the world.
And of course,
don't forget the wings.
our
Right.
glorious Philadelphia Eagles,
I'm
the
rooting
state
for
of
the Eagles.
Pennsylvania,
The
are
Eagles are going to lose to the Chiefs.
I'm
No.
rooting for the Eagles.
No.
I like
I
Nick
figured you
Sirianni.
were.
It's
I
going
like
to be defense.
You
But I
forget
like
Kansas
Sirianni.
City's got a pretty good defense too.
Yeah, well, it should be interesting. Andy Reid used to coach the Eagles,
Right.
and
And that's his defense.
the Eagles have not really, not anymore, but
The same
DeVal's
scheme.
saying now. Hold, Mac Daddy. DeVal's saying Eagles 37-34.
well, the Eagles are 4.5 point underdogs, and Kansas City is favored by 1.5 in the pools or in the gambling. So it should be interesting. It should be one hell of a game because
It should be.
it's one of the more equally matched Super Bowls we've had in a long time. Super Bowls
Yeah.
usually a blowout.
The thing for me is
It's going to be a
Well,
war.
I may miss the first quarter as far as watching because I'll be on my way home.
Oh yeah. You
Well-
probably find it on the radio.
I can't. I have Sirius. Sirius XM. Sirius XM.
Yeah, you should be able to find it on there somewhere.
Oh yeah, they got the NFL channel. They'll even tell you what channel you can. There's a channel dedicated to nothing but the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just
So,
signed up today for NFL season ticket for a 1 week trial. I don't think I'll make it a week.
I happen to have it, but I can't watch it on my TV. I have to watch it on my phone. But I will be able to watch it on my TV that I have because it's a smart TV and I got apps. And so
I was
just
going to say
bring up
you
the
should
right
be able
app.
to get that on if you're running the antenna, you should be able to get it on the antenna.
Yeah, I can't
Well-
get antenna where I'm at.
I'm not on an antenna. I'm just strictly, but I have the apps.
I can get only 3 channels on the antenna because I live between 2 mountains.
I have. I can watch my YouTube. I can watch my I can watch all that stuff on my TV.
Well, YouTube's going to be broadcasting it also.
Yeah, that's what I said. I can get YouTube on my TV.
Really?
Yeah, so
Yes.
you should be okay.
I
Yes.
didn't know that. I have to have a
I
conversation
got.
with my son.
Well, it depends on your TV.
Well, I got
Yeah.
YouTube on my TV, but my son was grooming my TV subscriptions today. I was going to cancel Hulu and kept it. I got Paramount Plus. Now I
I
have
Paramount Plus, and I'm not getting rid of it.
now I have
I want to get Paramount Plus.
I have
That's all I got is
HBO
antenna.
Max now,
Well, YouTube's free.
and I jailbroke. And anybody can do this if they want. You buy the Fire TV stick,
Yeah.
and you jailbreak it per the instructions on YouTube, and it gives you all kinds of channels.
Yeah.
I may buy the Fire Stick right now. Like I got enough free stuff.
Well, you should jailbreak your Fire Stick. You get even more.
Yeah.
I don't have a Fire Stick. I'd have to buy the Fire Stick. I don't know if I
Yeah.
want to buy it.
They're
I
not
got,
very
I
expensive.
got all kinds of
I
free
mean,
stuff.
They're like
Yeah.
$20.
You got free TV.
They're not expensive.
But I'm just saying, you got free TV you can watch. I've got Netflix. I'm with you. I got Hulu and Disney, and I'm going to get rid of those two.
I was
got
going to get.
Paramount Plus. I got all kinds of stuff I can watch
Yeah.
for free.
I was going to get Hulu, but to get the Paramount stuff, I'd end up having to pay as much as I would for cable.
Depends on what you get from Paramount. But yeah,
I got Paramount Plus. I get no commercials.
Well, yeah,
I pay enough
but
that I have
in
no
order, because
commercials.
I looked at it, and Hulu's got 3 different levels, but to
Right.
get Paramount, you got to go to their highest level, and it's like $79 or $69.
yeah, I don't
That
pay that. I
doesn't-
pay 18 for Paramount Plus.
Paramount,
Yeah.
I'll only pay 18. If that, I pay somewhere around, and I get it the next day. I can watch any show they had on the day before. I can watch it the next day, no commercials.
Yeah.
There's a small commercial at the start of the show. It lasts maybe 15 seconds. Then there's no commercial the rest of the show.
Yeah, I want to
That-
get Paramount Plus so I can catch up with Yellowstone.
It's on there. I mean, you can go back and watch every NCIS program
Yeah.
if you want on Paramount.
Well,
Plus.
I saw seasons 1 through 4 on cable, and then we dropped cable, and now I'm gonna have to get Paramount Plus or something so I can get season 5. But I want to see that.
I've
think
never
everybody dropped cable.
never watched an episode of Yellowstone. Now I did watch 1883. I watched all of it.
My opinion is you'd like it.
I probably would. It's going to have to be probably during the summer when all my programs I watch are over, and there's no movie because I'll binge. I know me. I'll binge watch it.
Well, that's the way
I'll
to
watch
do
some-
it
I'll
because
watch-
it's like 4
I-
seasons behind. So
Yeah. But have you ever seen the show Leverage? And then
I love
Leverage Redemption.
Leverage.
What about Leverage Redemption?
I think I saw 1 episode of that.
All right. Well, they got 2 seasons out right now.
Oh, okay.
All right. Now I watched the first season when it came out, and I had to watch it, when the episodes came up.
Right.
Well, I'm farther enough back than when they brought it out this time. They had all the episodes up there, and I
Right.
binge watched them in 2 days. There was only 13
Oh, wow.
episodes.
yeah.
Yeah, it was only 13 episodes, and
Yeah,
it was
I
all
hate
during my
that
days off.
nowadays. I hate that nowadays. Their seasons are only between 10 and 13 episodes. Used to be 22 or 28.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. When I was a kid, it was at least 26,
Yeah.
at least half a year, and usually more. Like you said, about 28.
Yeah.
Well, everything's
Yeah.
a mess these days. They fired all the writers years ago.
Now, what happened is they
Well, they
found
didn't
out.
actually fire them.
Oh, they got rid of.
They had a strike. No, they all came back, most of them.
Yeah, but what I'm
But
saying
they
is what
lost a
happened.
half a year of writing.
Tiny TV, illegal but free. But and Duval says Eagles are currently favored by 1.5 points.
I don't think they are here in the States.
Well, no. Duval's in the States. He lives in New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
Well, they're moving the
But you got
line.
to remember now, the line keeps moving according to how people are betting.
Right. Yeah,
All
so
right.
that is a moving target.
It's a moving target, and we'll be right up to the almost game time.
I find it hard to
Yeah.
bet football because they openly admit that they use officiating to throw the game.
They sure have.
Well, they do it, and how can
Yeah,
you
they have
bet
in the
something?
past. I know it.
Right? How are you going to bet something that basically is rigged and fixed? I don't understand how people can bet football.
Well,
You
Yeah,
admit
I've heard about COVID.
I've heard that, but I don't know if it's true.
it is definitely true. The
Well, part
NFL
of the-
openly admits it in paragraphs that they publish.
I
Well, they
haven't seen it, so I
seen
can't.
that, but that
That
doesn't mean
the
anything.
officiating is enhanced, as they call it,
Yeah.
in favor of creating a better program is basically the gist of it.
Well,
Yeah.
it's right now. It's geared towards offense.
Yeah, but
All right.
the
no,
officiating
that's-
is in
And a problem they have with officiating right now, my biggest is the fact that they use part timers.
I don't care if they're
And they, well, no, they changed the rules so much.
Well, they're
that,
sitting
you know,
there calling. They're sitting there falsifying the officiating to enhance the game.
Yeah.
Well, that could be.
That doesn't work too well in a lot of places.
Well,
You look at some of the
no.
games that have been blowouts. That didn't work at all in those blowouts.
well, I understand that, but
I think
That's
that's
why I
why they
said I-
started doing it.
you could use
The
the
last
officiating to-
like three Super Bowls have been a lot closer.
Well, right. These numbers could be so close tomorrow that they could use a bad call or two to throw the game in favor of.
Well,
know,
the problem.
Oh,
I'm sorry. The problem I have with that, they've been having bad calls ever since I've seen all the Super Bowls except for when I was overseas. Okay,
Right.
I've not missed a Super Bowl except for the 2 years I was overseas. There's always been bad calls,
Yeah.
always, and there always will be bad calls.
Well, that's just life, but
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I mean, I'm
they're-
not going to say that it's intentional.
they're saying that the NFL admits it's intentional.
No,
And
I think they.
I can believe
I
it,
think
Larry.
they. I think what that's intentional is that they want certain things called more than others.
No, the NFL admits it's intentional to change the progress of the game.
I'm
And-
not going to buy that.
Well,
I'm sorry.
don't buy it, Larry. They openly admit it.
Yeah.
So whatever
I'll
you
tell
want,
you, Larry, I've seen calls that look that way.
Oh, I've seen a lot of calls that look like that.
But,
yeah, but you're not
I
buying
mean,
it, Larry. They openly admit it. They're telling you they do it, and I guess you don't believe them.
You know,
Like I
I
said,
never saw
I've
where
not
they,
seen it.
where they said they were
Until I
going
see it
to.
myself, I'm not going to buy it. I've
Well,
not seen that information.
It's written. The NFL has written it, and it's
Well,
late.
like I
And
said, until I see that,
season they did it.
Yeah, I haven't read it myself.
let's just say I'm not going to
I've
buy it
seen
until I read it
enough bad
myself.
calls,
And then
that are obvious bad
who's the one
calls
reporting it?
that I could believe it.
I mean, if it's the View reported, I don't believe a thing those bitches say.
I'm not making it up.
I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying I'm not going to buy it until I see it myself.
I understand that, but
I must have some Missouri in me because you got to show me. You know,
this game tomorrow could be so close that a bad officiated call or two could throw it financially either way. The
Yeah.
fix is it.
And all it takes is a illegal motion or an offside or a defensive holding or anything or something little like that. It's all it takes to break the momentum.
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm just saying that I have a funny feeling that because gambling is now bigger than ever.
Well, like Deval says, you can now bet on the length of the national anthem, and that's true. You can bet on that. You can also bet on what color Gatorade is going to be thrown on the winning coach. You've been able to. Oh no, you can. That's
No,
all
I
side
believe
bets.
it.
That's been for years.
They bet on everything. But you know,
They bet on
really,
which team's going to score the first touchdown, who's going to score it, and how's it going to be scored? Run,
Yeah.
pass, or defense. You know, all that stuff is better.
the
You
score
can
at
bet
the
on
end
now.
of the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, and the final score.
Well, yeah, the
Yeah.
big money's bet on the game itself, and you know,
Yeah.
I just have a funny feeling that we're going to be all sitting here Monday morning screaming the fix was in.
Well,
I think they're done with that taking the knee stuff, Tim.
Well, I know there for a while the players just weren't allowed on the field during the national anthem.
Yeah,
Okay, inside.
after that, Colin Kaepernick and his cronies.
Well,
did
for
the
a
knee
long
thing.
time, they were letting them do it. Then they found out the fans didn't like it. And the players were saying, "Well, we got the right to do it," which they don't.
No,
It's up to the owners and the league to tell them if they have that right. Because I can't go to work where I work and say,
No,
I'm
they're
going to
under
take a
contract.
knee and you can't do it. And I'm going to protest this and you can't do anything about it because, yes, they can.
you know there are ways to protest that are
Yeah.
reasonable and legitimate, and that wasn't. All they did was distract from the game.
But like I said, though, I mean,
But you know,
come out, wear a shirt that says what you want it to say or have it on the back of a
Can't
jacket.
do that. They're not allowed to
No,
wear their own apparel.
Yeah.
Oh, they let them wear that Black Lives Matter stuff.
Not in
You better
football.
damn well did. They better damn
Yeah,
well
they
believe
actually
they
put
did.
it across their chest.
Yeah. They let them wear some BLM stuff.
Yep.
Well, I'd like to change that. I don't think Black Lives Matter. I think all lives matter.
Well, I agree,
Yes.
but that's not the point.
And you know the fact of the matter is they're talking about how many black people have been shot, unarmed black people have been shot by cops. If they told us how many unarmed white people were shot by cops, Black Lives Matter would not even matter anymore.
It's a
Well,
disproportionate
it's like,
number. But yeah, I know what
Yeah.
you're saying.
well, like I said, I don't really care for the view.
I've
But
been
they were
arrested and uncharged and put in jail for a week.
Yeah.
I spent the night in jail for I never was charged.
I
Shouldn't
was
even been in jail.
I,
Matter
sh-
of
I,
fact, the
was
judge
held in,
threw it out. That's why I was never charged.
I was held in Bucks
Yeah.
County prison from a Thursday to a Tuesday, uncharged. I
But
should
anyway,
try and get
the,
something through the county though.
Yeah.
I can't remember which one it was on The View. There's a YouTube where somebody else is showing what they said. They were saying, well, if it was a white person getting beat up, maybe they should beat them up. You know, that we get laws
Yeah.
changed. And the person that was showing the statement and it's showing how stupid they are says, hey, look, this guy here, and he was white, was beaten to death, and it was a whole lot worse than this one. But
Right.
yet you never hear about that. They said there's as many whites, if not more, that are beaten up.
Oh, it's
illegally.
astronomically more, but
Let's
we never hear about it because it doesn't make good news.
Well, that's all
It
part
doesn't fit the narrative of what the news wants to say.
Yep.
And did you see where that I can't think of his first name. His last name's Adams, the mayor of New York City.
Oh, I don't know his name.
His
I
last
think
name's
it's Eric.
Adams. Huh?
I think it's Eric Adams.
It could be, but anyway, he was holding a press conference. Now he's the only one of the New York people there. And he's talking about how they're turning away a lot of the minorities because of this woke stuff. You know, he's talking about the Asians, the Hispanics, how they're turning away from the Democratic Party because of these woke idiots that want to close down the police. They want to do this. They want to do that. And it goes against what the blacks want. It goes against what the Asians want. It goes against what the Hispanics want.
Nobody
The
in their
blacks-
right mind wants to defund the police.
No,
The blacks want more
that's-
police in their neighborhoods.
right, and that's never been a Democrat's
Right.
talking. That
No,
was
it's,
something
Democrats
thrown
the
out.
idiots. It's the woke idiots.
That was
I don't
something
even
thrown
understand
out there by,
what-
like you say, like
I
the
don't even
bro.
understand
like
what
the woke
woke
people.
means or stands for.
Oh, it stands
me,
for.
it stands
Oh,
for- it stands
I'll
for
tell you.
complete
I'll
idiot.
tell you when they say they're woke, what they're trying to say is, "I'm better than you because I care."
Yeah,
Now you disagree with me, so you're an idiot. I can yell at you and cuss at you and call you all kinds of names because I'm enlightened. And
yeah.
it's and one of the guys,
Hey, crazy
it was
kid.
white guys. It was one of the white guys that said it. It might have been the Jewish guy. I can't think of his name right offhand.
Rat-
Conservative. Huh? No, Ben Shapiro. It
Uh,
was either Ben Shapiro or one of the other conservative talking heads. Said it's usually the white liberal, the elite white liberal is what he's talking about. Because they can say what they want because they don't have to put up with it. They can afford the $5 a dozen or $10 a dozen eggs. They can afford the $5 a gallon gas, and they can because they're living in their mansions with their private security, so they can afford to have the police defunded. Whereas the normal working person doesn't want that, but yet they want to say, "Oh well, I'm better than most white people because I feel for you. I understand the pain you're going through, and I'm going to put you through more because I know what's best for you." Now, how the
Yeah.
hell is that being woke?
Really.
I don't like I said, I don't understand the whole term of woke. It makes no sense to me.
To me, to me,
still don't make any
to me,
sense.
it says they're stupid.
Yeah, it is. They want to scream and shout and say, "Oh, I'm so much better than you," and you can't have a different opinion, or I'm going to cancel you.
Oh,
But
you're right
see,
there,
oh,
Val.
To me, it's all a dodge because if you watch the State of the Union address the other night, when Republicans came on with the rebuttal, they offered nothing.
No, all they did is
They have no programs.
the girl, the
I didn't
woman
watch
who-
the State of the Union because both sides, in my opinion, are stupid. But that's
the
beside
woman who did the Republican rebuttal on it. All she was saying was that Biden wasn't qualified to be a president.
Yeah, and she
I don't think
That's
he
the
is.
only damn thing. That's the only damn thing she said. She didn't say
Right, but
anything
the thing
else
is-
worthwhile.
I'll tell you why he's qualified. There's only one reason he's qualified. We elected him.
That's right.
well,
That's the only. That's like you can say whatever you want about Trump. He was elected. He was the president. Now it's Biden.
Trump. One of the things I can say about Trump, they're blaming Biden for the interest rates.
That came under Biden.
It
What
actually
came
started
under
under Trump.
Yeah, but it got out of hand under Biden.
No, it got out of
Okay,
hand
but the
under
president,
Trump.
the
When Trump
president
added
has no
two-
control over that.
Right, when Trump added $2 trillion to the national debt by giving
Hold it. You're talking about adding trillions? How
Yeah.
much has the Democrats added here in the last 2 years?
Trump added more.
No. Trump did not. They both added too much. If you want to know the truth,
Well,
how
they
many,
did.
how many billions, if not trillions, we've given to Ukraine?
But wait a minute.
No.
Yeah.
Don't wait a minute, me.
Ukraine.
I can't wait a minute, Larry,
was a
but you're
matter
not
of national security.
Larry, once again, you're not quoting accurate numbers. You like to say, don't wait a minute, me, but you don't quote an accurate number because I mentioned something you didn't even let
It's still billions. It's still billions
Trump-
they gave Ukraine.
Trump added 28% in 4 years to the national debt.
That's 4 years. What has Biden done in 2 years?
He hasn't added 28%.
Not
He's
anywhere
added,
near.
he's added a lot more than you
Nowhere
want to see for 2
near.
years.
Nowhere near, Larry, and you don't want to hear your numbers.
But another thing that helped Biden out, and it's also hurt us, and like I said, this is not Biden's fault. I'm not going to blame this on Biden, but it helped Biden in some ways, and it hurt us greatly, was the pandemic.
Well, the pandemic.
You can sit there and think all you want. It's the truth. It helped Biden because it gave him free reign to do some things that he shouldn't, as far as I'm concerned, he shouldn't have done.
Well,
But it hurt us because look how long we were out of work. Look how many businesses shut down.
yeah, but look at the money
You
they
can-
gave away and how
Larry,
small it
that-
was.
that-
That's
all-
right. He gave away too much money. He should not have done that.
That
Trump
all
gave
happened-
away
that all
more
happened
money.
under Trump.
Trump
Huh?
gave away more money, Larry, and you think it was fine.
No, you're talking about those checks. There was guys, this is no shit that I worked with, made more money, double their money, sitting at home because they gave them, well, you got your unemployment? No. And this is under Biden. We're going to give you this much more.
Trump gave away more money when he signed off $2 trillion.
No,
as
Biden
a
did not
tax
give
cut
any
for
additional
multimillionaires.
unemployment money.
$600 a week. Don't tell me.
That was all. I was drawn it during part of that time, and that all
That
came
was,
under Trump.
that was under
That was
Biden.
Trump's program that he signed an executive order for. That's $600 a week, extra money for unemployment, and then they cut it off. They actually cut it off before Biden got in office.
No, it kept going after Biden was in office because I know people was collecting it. Now maybe they did in Texas. I'm not saying that.
Yeah,
But look
Well,
at
they
how
definitely
low
did
those
Texas.
numbers were in
But in
comparison.
New York, and Trump was already out of office in New York. I'm working. Everybody else is staying home, and they're getting paid more money. And I made more than them before they stayed home. And they're making almost double what I am working, and they're staying home. I would have more than doubled my income
But you're missing
if I'd
the
have stayed home.
no, Larry.
But you had to get laid off, and I would. They weren't going to
Larry,
lay me off.
you're missing the point. Trump
What's
gave
the
away
point?
more money with one signature given to 1/2 of 1% wealthiest Americans a $2 trillion tax break, and he gave them the tax break by financing it into the market. So we had to pay for it, and that caused the interest rates to go up on everybody in America.
Can I tell you something?
Sure, I'm listening.
We pay for everything. There is nothing free.
Right.
Now,
Well, that's true.
that
But you
means
didn't have to
right now
finance
they're
it
telling
in an
people
actual day.
not to file their taxes right now because they're trying to decide whether or not they want to tax you on the money they gave you that you were told was going to be free.
They,
Now they're
they
trying to
came
decide, why
out.
should we
They
tax
came
them?
out. They came out and said that would not be taxed. They said that just today.
I got a message telling me not to file my taxes because they may tax it. And I just got that message this week.
Yeah, I did also. But today,
But see, what it
today
is
they
is they're
came
going
out
state
on
by
the
state.
national news that was not going to be taxed. But they still wanted us to wait because IRS is so short-handed, they won't be able to get the returns back to us on time.
That's never stopped us before. It just, you put it in, the quicker you got in, the quicker you got back, but it may take you a month, 2 months. By waiting, it's going to take longer.
Well,
No,
all that, I just got a
tell-
problem with when you quote numbers, all that pandemic money still doesn't come close to the $2 trillion that Trump gave away in one signature.
Yeah, he's right, Larry. Him cutting
Now,
him
Deval
cutting the
says
taxes
that-
on
hold
all
on.
wealthy.
Hold
That-
on. Deval Don says 50% of people pay no taxes. And there's a large number. I won't say it's 50. I think that's a little high. But when you're poor, you're under a certain amount of money, you get all your money back.
Yeah. Yeah, if you don't make a certain amount, you don't have to pay any taxes.
Yeah. So that's part of the people not paying taxes.
But well,
Now, like I
but
said,
it's
I'm
not-
more for
it's
I'm
not
more for a
3%
flat
of the
tax.
people don't pay any taxes or very little. And
Like I
that's
said, I'm
not
either
fair.
for a flat tax or a user tax. Either way you want to look at it, one or the other. But you got to come up with what is poor. Is it 20,000, 30,000? What's poor? All right.
Well,
So
I don't know.
up to that amount, hold on, let me finish. Up to that amount, nobody pays taxes on that. I don't care how rich you are. You don't pay taxes on whatever's considered poor.
But that's not accurate.
Hold on, I'm not done. Now the part that I want to get different than some people is that after you step over that 30,000, you're not taxed for under that. That's still free. So if you
You're
make
in
$30,000 $1, you're paying tax on that $1.
Yeah, but now you're in fantasy land. Let's talk about what really is, not what you'd like to do.
No, it could be that way. It's up to the politicians. They can make it that way.
But you're in
They
fantasy
just won't
land.
do it.
You're in
They,
fantasy
they
They won't
won't do it because the wealthy own them all.
Yeah, but so does politicians would have to pay their fair share.
You're in fantasy land. Let's get to reality.
No, I'm not. I'm talking the truth. The politicians cheat on their taxes as much of it as anybody.
Yeah, but you're in fantasy
many-
land about what you're
You
talking
look at how many
about.
politicians. Look at Biden. He went into politics, was not a rich man. He's a multimillionaire. Nancy Pelosi, the same thing. Look at how many people went in and were not rich when they went in and come out rich. Now they don't make that kind of money.
How much money is Biden worth?
I'm not sure, but he.
Right.
As
So
a-
you can't say
but
he's a
what I'm
multi-millionaire.
saying,
He
no,
might
they
be, I
say
don't
he's
know.
rich.
But
what
you
I'm
don't
saying
have
is
anything to base that on.
the highest paid politician is the president, and he doesn't even make $1 million a year.
He makes 480,000.
That's right. Now you go in as I'm not saying he was poor, but you go in and you're not rich.
Why
You
is
leave
Warren
office and-
Buffett's husband given a consulting fee by the Koch brothers for almost $500,000? That's where they get their money, and that's part of the dirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the dirt. That's what I'm saying. And they need to get rid of that. And they also
Right,
need to get rid of it
they're
after
not
they get
going
out.
Yeah, DeVal, I'm retired too.
Yeah, I've never. I don't think. Well, maybe when I first got out of the Navy, the first year or so. But I don't think I've ever gotten back every cent I paid in.
Well, I have, but
Well, like I said, I might have, but it was very shortly after I'm talking about when I worked the full year.
I get an over allowance for my son.
Yeah.
So I actually get more than I paid in.
Yeah. That's why.
I
That's
know-
why
I know that
have,
happens to
I've
people,
always
too.
had kids.
I got a friend that's got 2 kids. His wife doesn't work. He gets back every cent, and I think then some.
This
Yeah.
is the last year I can get money from having my son because he'll be 17 in November, and they've cut back all the over allowance money I can get. Last year I got over $2,000 back. This year I'll get less than 500.
I may owe money this year.
That's how much they changed the tax laws.
Yeah.
You can thank Donald Trump for that and his $2
No,
trillion.
because under Donald Trump, I never owed money, except for state, and the state is Democrat
But
here.
Trump set you up and you don't admit it. By giving $2 trillion to the
I'm telling you right
on your
now, up until now, I've gotten money back every year. So if I have,
right, but Trump
get it-
financed it on your back and you're sitting there denying it.
no, I'm not. I said they all do it on our back. We all pay, no matter who it is.
Not that kind of money, Larry. 28% in 4 years of the debt. The national debt was put in under Trump, and that's an outrageously crazy number.
I agree with you, Deval. I used to vote Democrat a lot myself. I gave it up because I don't trust them.
Well,
I'm more of an
Don't trust
independent. These guys have never voted Republican. I have voted Democrat and Republican.
I
I've
don't know
also
what
voted
guy you're
independent.
talking
The
about.
last
You
Republican.
told me you never voted for a Republican. And
I've
never
never
will.
told you that. I've never voted for a Republican president, maybe, but I've voted Republican. I do live in the state of Pennsylvania. We do have both
Yeah.
parties.
I voted for both parties for president.
The last Republican I would have ever voted for
Hey, girlie, how you
President.
doing?
was Frank Church.
And by the way, Mac, I know you can't see it. Girlie saying hi to all the gentlemen.
Hello,
I
everybody.
will. I shouldn't include you in that statement, but I will. I'll include you in the gentlemen.
Hey, girlie, how you doing?
Now, girlie, if you want your link, just type in LLL, and my Nightbot will drop your link in. I'm glad to have you here. If you want to come up and talk with us, grumpy old people, come on up.
My
or if
biggest
you just got
problem
questions, you can ask questions.
With the Republican Party these days, they're the party of no, and then they have no program to offer. They're telling everybody no, look at the budget. Well, where's your budget, folks? They don't have one to show you.
Well,
Yeah.
So if
that
you
happens a
want
lot with both sides. I'm going to tell you the truth. Both sides usually say something against somebody else, and then they don't really know what they want to do different. That happens, and that has happened with both sides.
Yeah.
Both, it's
It's
stupid.
not happening
It-
now. It's only happening with one side. One side
Well,
has
the
No, because
Republican,
they-
Republican Party is so splintered right now.
But both sides have done it, Mac Daddy. Both sides have done it.
Well, yeah, but I'm talking about now.
So what I'm saying is, though, you're trying to say that, like you're acting like only the Republicans have ever done it. The Democrats have done it. The party
Even
in
under
power.
Trump,
Hold
I'm
up,
still
hold up,
waiting
hold
for
up.
Trump's. Wait a minute. Whoa. I'm waiting for Trump's medical plan that he promised us in 2 weeks for 6 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right, Deval. We have to excuse people from the Pennsylvania because they elected Fetterman. You're right. We have to excuse them.
Yeah. That's
Oh,
true.
yeah. We didn't want to vote for a carpetbagger from New Jersey. I'm sorry, DeVal.
Would have been better than Fetterman.
Not really.
Probably. Yeah, really.
Why would you vote for Oz? He
Well,
doesn't. He's not from Pennsylvania. He don't belong here.
But I have to go along with you. I'm not sure if I would have voted for Oz or for Fetterman. I didn't
Yeah, I
pay
don't know
attention to that. I'm just saying I didn't pay that. I don't vote for somebody just because Trump says, "Oh, this is the best person." No, I want to know what they got.
I want you to look at Fetterman's arms sometime. Look at his tattoos on his arms.
I'm sorry, I don't want to see somebody else's tattoos. I don't even
Well,
look at my
okay.
own.
Well,
I got mine covered up.
let me explain what they are. Then one's the zip code of Braddock, Pennsylvania, and the other 5 are people that were murdered in Braddock, Pennsylvania, and Fetterman showed up and put a stop to it all.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. Like I said, I don't know who I would have voted for because I don't pay
Well,
attention
Fetterman,
to
all I'm saying,
hold on.
Fetterman's
I
a
don't
man.
pay attention to Pennsylvania's politics. I don't even know who I'd vote for in Indiana. I don't live there anymore. I do
Fetterman's
know who I would not vote for, and they still keep getting elected here in New York. I would not vote for Sherman.
Fetterman's
I
a
would not vote.
blue-collar guy from Pennsylvania, from a little
It might be,
town
but I'm
called-
just saying, no, I would not vote for Sherman.
It's
There's a
shame
couple
that
others.
Fetterman had a stroke.
And Hochul, I would not vote for Hochul, but they keep getting elected. I vote against them, but that's the way it goes.
I'd vote for Fetterman with a pulse over Oz any day.
Yeah, that forgot that wasn't
All
very
right,
hard choice.
let me talk to Gurley for a minute. Well, thank you for dropping by. I'm glad to hear that your
And Matt-
husband, that's Jen Barbus official, is also live on YouTube right now. So she just dropped in to say hi.
And we
And,
voted for Shapiro.
Now, Gurley, if there's any way you can drop his link, go ahead and drop it. It's fine with me. I'm not the kind that you can't drop somebody else's link that's competing against me. That's fine with me. Not everybody's going to like my channel, and so
And in Pennsylvania, they elected Shapiro government over Mastriano because Mastriano was absolutely crazy.
Oh, there's a lot.
And a white
There's
supremacist.
Hey, JBL. Excuse me, JLB. Still can't get into the Philippines. How you doing, man? Welcome. Oh, hang on a minute there, Gurley. I'll give you a monitor. Yeah, you can't drop it like you did mine. So go ahead and drop his link. Be my guest. But like I said, with me, people that know me know good and well I don't care about getting to 1,000. I don't care about getting monetized. Don't get me wrong. If I get there, that's fine. But that's not why I did this channel. And but like I said, that's fine, girlie. I like to visit channels where I find the content interesting. Sometimes I actually join these other channels. Sometimes I don't. But if I see something that looks interesting to me, I try to watch it and usually try to make a comment on it. But sometimes I'll watch stuff that I find interesting. I don't make a comment because, well, I watch quite a few at one time, sometimes on the one channel. So I'm not going to comment on every vlog. And sometimes I'm at work busy, and so I watch it, but it's like, all right, I got to get to work, so I can't make a comment at that time. Yeah, Deval, you want to get it going, don't you, buddy? But like I said, I enjoy this. This is my entertainment. This more so than the videos themselves. But I enjoy doing the walking videos and stuff. But like I said, I started my channel just to answer the question why I went by Lazy Larry. And I kind of enjoyed doing that first video. It was a talking head video, like where I would just talk to the camera and explain how I got the name and why I used it. And so I did another. And that's
Electric Larry.
No, I want to stay with Lazy Larry. Lazy Larry Lee. That's what I'm staying with. But you type in on YouTube looking for you type in Lazy Larry, a whole bunch of things are going to show up. But you add my last name. That's why I ended up adding it, because I originally was just Lazy Larry. But you add Lazy Larry Lee, and I'm the first name that pops up. So that's why I changed it to Lazy Larry Lee. I went from Larry Lee to Lazy Larry to Lazy Larry Lee. And I was explaining why I went to Lazy Larry. And but I enjoyed it. Then I did my first live stream. I wasn't sure if I should do one. And I just talked my first one. Nobody else came up as a guest. It was just me. And I did it on YouTube and not StreamYard. And I talked for almost 2 hours. and I enjoyed it. Had the people come up. Then I went with StreamYard so I could have other people come up and do other things. And you're right, JLB. You're never going to convince me to go watch a JLB video. I have no interest in it. I guess at one time he was supposed to be decent, but he kind of went off the rails, and I just don't care to see that. I got enough people that I like watching. I'll watch them. But, so like I said, it just happens to be this is what I enjoy doing. I wouldn't mind doing it more than once a week. I just don't know if I should. But I have to do some shorts. I got to do at least one of those video, whether it's a short or a regular video. I need to do those every week, at least one. And,
I missed some of your videos.
Huh?
I missed some of your videos. I like the one of the locks. That was a great video.
Oh, that was one of my favorites. I got real lucky with that boat coming when I was there that went through the lock. I thought that was very fortuitous for me. It was really a great deal of luck.
You're one of the supermarket in your neighborhood recently was pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, there's two of those. Part 1 and part 2. Part 2 is more in the dessert section. It's shorter than the first one.
I love supermarkets everywhere all over the country because they're all different.
Well, this is a chain. Started off as a Price Chopper, which is the lowest form of their chain. Then they went to Market 32, which is a step up from Price Chopper. And then they went to Market Bistro. Now, this one I go to is Market Bistro, and as far as I know, it's the only Market Bistro in their chain. And it's a little fancier. I like the Market 32s. They're nice, but the Market Bistro is fancier. They got a much better dining area, for one thing. You can go, like I said, you got this one roll of, and all of them have food. I don't know about Price Chopper, but I mean, Market 32 has food too. But they don't have quite the selection of fresh food. They don't have as much a nice area to sit down. They even got a sit-down restaurant inside the store that you can walk over to, sit down and order your food and sit there and eat. Or they got another area, like I said, that you can go in and sit there and eat. And that's where you get, whether you want to get a sub or chicken or pizza or whatever. They even got Italian, like spaghetti. They also got lasagna and all that kind of stuff that you can buy and then go sit in this one section. You sit down and eat. They got the machines where you can buy the soda fountain. I think that's Coke. But they also got Pepsi there that you can get. So you can get all your drinks, whatever you want to drink, and pay for it at the counter where you're getting your food at and go sit down and eat.
I'm from Philly. I don't know what a sub is.
Well, I believe that. You know what? The only thing you know is a Philly cheesesteak. That's the only thing you know.
No, that's not true.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's all you guys in Philly know. You don't know of anything else.
What's a hoagie, Larry?
A sub.
No.
It's a smaller sub. That's all it is.
No.
Hey, when I first started going to submarine shops, one of the first ones I ever went to was in Bremerton, Washington, which is right across the Puget Sound from Seattle. Yep. I was in the Navy. They had the old submarine shops, what they called it. And then they had the torpedo. The torpedo was much bigger than a hot dog bun with the deli meats and stuff. It was probably about the size of maybe a foot long. I doubt if it was that big. But it was decent size. And then you had the bigger one. And either one you got, you went up and you went through a line like Subway. And you pointed what you wanted and they put on. But they didn't have a sandwich that you said, well, I want the American. So you went in and said, well, I want the ham, I want the turkey, I want the chicken, I want the roast beef. You told them exactly what you wanted on it. If it was all ham, it was all ham. If you wanted 50-50, but you had to tell them. You didn't go up and say, well, I want this, because it wasn't that way. It was You went in, and they really put the meat on there back in those days. This is back in the mid 70s. It's probably around 75, 76, probably around 76. Might have been 75.
Really, man, the only thing you got was an American or an Italian back in the day.
Yeah. Well, no, they had all kinds. They had all kinds of meat. They had roast beef. They had turkey. They had ham. They really was a nice spread. But they didn't have it up there saying, "Well, I want the American," or "I want the Italian." No, you went in. You told them what you want. I want this ham. I want that. And then I want tomatoes on there. I want this on there. And like I said, it's very similar to a Subway today, except for you go in and you say, well, I want the Black Forest, or I want the American, or I want the old fashioned, but back then you didn't do that. You had to go ahead and tell them each item you wanted on there. You didn't have this is what we call this one. This is what we call that one. That wasn't the way it was. And like I said, we're talking right around, oh God, I'm going to say 76. Because this is when I got on the Long Beach. She was in Dry Dock there in Bremerton, Washington. And I was only there for maybe 6 months. Now, I was in Washington State for over a year later on. But that was 77, 78. But this was when I got on the USS Long Beach. And like I said, I've never been to a Subway shop before that. San Diego didn't have one. I was in San Diego for years. I never saw a Subway. Now, the first time I had Mexican food was in San Diego. First time, real Mexican food. You go in, there was a Mexican family cooking it. It was their restaurant. And they had some great burritos. Now, I went to this one restaurant called the Real McCoy's, which is right next door to the McCoy bar. Well, he sold the restaurant part, and it was a Mexican family that took that over. I can't remember what they changed the name to. They had really good Mexican food. Now, I can't say it's the first place I ever had real good Asian food or Chinese food or Japanese food, because I had that overseas. I had that in Hong Kong. I had that in Japan. I had Filipino food in the Philippines. I had street food in the Philippines. They have these barbecues on the street we go to at night. And guys will say, you don't know if that's cat, monkey, or dog. And I said, I don't care. It tastes good. It didn't matter to me. I didn't get sick from it, and it tasted good. So I didn't care what it was. And that was in Civic Bay. And I was in Civic a couple of times. The first time was only for like maybe a week. And the next time was like 2 months. So I spent some time there. And I enjoyed it. And like I said, when I was in the Navy, my division, the guys I worked with, was almost 1/3 Filipino and about 1/3 white and 1/3 black or Hispanic. We were really a diverse group of people. And my first class happened to be Filipino. My first chief happened to be Mexican. I had a black second class, which is over me. So I had to answer to minorities, what we could, and I got along well with them. I did my job, and they did their job. They treated me fairly. And like I said, the ones that were equal to me, the guys that I worked with, we got along great. We went out and partied together, some of us, and we respected each other. And some of these guys, when I was on shore duty, a couple of them happened to be on shore duty with me. This is a couple of years later. I transferred and did 2 other ships, get to shore duty, and a couple of guys I knew from my first ship. This is the way it is in the military. You get bounced around, and sometimes you run into people from some of their previous base, our ship in my case, and they would invite me over to their house for parties. I got along quite well with their families. And so, like I said, I developed a liking for the people because of how friendly they were and how well they treated me. And, because like I said, they did not have, because we didn't work together, the guys I'm talking about now. We were off the same ship. We knew each other, but we didn't work together. So they didn't have to invite me to their house for a party. These guys were
all the best, Larry. I got to tell you, that is the absolute best part of life.
Yeah. Well, what I'm saying is, I mean, you know, I was a third class. These guys are first classes and second class, so they're a lot higher in rank than I was.
And real cultural experience.
Yeah, and they were older. I mean, I was like 25, and these guys had kids in their teens. You know, some of them had, like I said, had kids 16, 17 years old. So they were in their 30s and maybe almost 40 years old.
I've had a lot of Spanish people back in the day when I was younger show me great hospitality.
That's what I'm saying. And you learn to appreciate that. And hello, Michelle. Welcome back.
I'm the
Hi,
only
Michelle.
English speaking guy in the party. And they made it a point to make sure that I was well taken care of and comfortable.
Yeah.
And I always remember that as the best.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, I mean, when people treat you well and don't have to, because like I said, they never had to invite me to the party, period. They could have had their party, not had. What I'm saying is I wouldn't have been insulted by it because, like I said, we were in a different group. But they went out of the way to include me. They went out of the way to be kind. Like I said, they didn't have to be. But they like I said, we knew each other. We talked to each other. And I was always friendly to their families when they were on base. So they included me. And they did some others. It wasn't just me. But it was people they knew that they could trust to act decent and treat their families decent. Which is important. Yeah, that's what I said. That's important.
Yeah, absolutely.
But like I said, now that's why that's one of the reasons why if I retire outside of the country, the number one destination for me would be the Philippines.
You're a great humanitarian. I'll give you that, Larry.
But if I was going to go somewhere besides the Philippines, it would probably be South America, only because of the proximity to the U.S. You know, that's the only draw for South America to me. Well, that plus there's a couple countries actually use the American U.S. dollar, so the conversion of it wouldn't be any problem.
Other than the Philippines, there's not many places I even want to go in this world.
Well, like I said, for me, if I go,
whenever I leave the USA, I want to kiss the ground when I get back. Let me tell you, it's just that kind of.
like I said, whenever I decide to go, the one requirement outside of people being friendly is warmth. I hate the cold. I live in the cold. I've lived in the cold most of my life. I lived in Southern California, so I wasn't always in the cold.
I was in Mexico one time. There's about 4 Army guys walking down the beach with like giant machine guns on them. I grabbed my camera, went out and started taking pictures. The next thing I know, I got machine guns pointed at me.
Well, when I was in the Philippines, and a lot of the Filipinos here are probably not old enough to remember it. Some of them might be, because we're talking 40-some years ago. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Fernando Marcos Sr. was in power. And they were under martial law when I was there. So you had to be off the streets by midnight. And that after midnight, there would be armed police and military with M16s walking the streets. And if you got caught out there and tried to run, they would shoot you. There was no, well, let him go. No, you ran, you were shot. It's that simple. So you could be in your yard, okay? If you had a yard, you could be standing in the yard, but you couldn't be walking that street. And so all the bars closed at 11:30. So you could be back to the base or back to because the guys had their own houses. You could be back to your house by midnight because you had to be off that street by midnight. And so, yeah, I've seen people walking around with M16s and going, they're serious. Behave yourself.
I'm just carrying a camera taking pictures like a tourist, and these guys turn around and one of them pointed a machine gun at me.
Well, when I
want to make
was
that camera irrelevant real quick, do that.
Yeah. Well, like I said, when I was in China, I was told, and I was there. We didn't have to go on a tour. You just applied for a visa, got it, and you went. You had 3 months to go there and use it. and I went within that 3 months. I went for a little over about 3 weeks, almost exactly. I had over 3 weeks vacation, but I spent about 3 weeks actually in country there. Whenever I was near a military base or a police station, except for a very small village where the Shaolin Temple's at, I was told, be careful, don't take pictures in this area, especially if it was a military base. Don't take pictures in this area. They will stop you and take your camera and stuff like that. So I had cameras with me, but I never took pictures. Like I said, I took a picture when I was in, I can't remember the name of the village, but it's where the Shaolin Temple's actually at, the Kung Fu Shaolin Temple. I was in that village, and I saw this building I found very interesting. It was the old style roof and decorated Chinese, style architecture. And I took a picture of it because I found it interesting. I found out later on, not the same day, but later on, when I got back to the States and had the pictures developed, a friend of mine who's Chinese told me, "Oh, that's a police station you took a picture of. You're lucky they didn't see you."
For better or worse, I gotta tell you, I love the USA. There's nowhere else I want to live.
There's a lot of places I'd rather live. I love the USA, don't get me wrong. But when I retire, I got to live off what I got coming in.
Exactly.
So I either got to bow and kowtow to the government and beg for money to help me live, or go somewhere where I can live. And I'm talking about if I want to live comfortably. I could move somewhere and live on what I got coming in. But it's not going to be a place I want to live.
Well, that's
I'm going to be away from.
That's the beauty of Western Pennsylvania, where I live. I can still rent a 1-bedroom apartment here for $350 a month.
That's all right. I don't want to live. It gets cold there. Remember, I don't want to be in the cold.
Yeah, for that same amount, I can rent a 3-bedroom house in the Philippines.
Oh, I understand that, but
Hold on a minute. Now, JAB Market 32 is a grocery store. It's of the chain. That's the mid level. You got what they call the price chopper, and that's the lowest level. The Market 32, and then you got Market Bistro. Where I go to is Market Bistro, not because I want to go to Market Bistro. It's the closest grocery store to me that I like. There's a Hannaford close to me, but they're not cheap either. And I just prefer Market Bistro. It's a little closer. Plus, I prefer the store. And I actually like Market 32s. I really do like them, but they're, like I said, a Market Bistro is like 2 miles from my house. The closest Market 32 I know of is about 6 miles from me. And like I said, the bistro's a little nicer. And for most of the products they have, the pop, the all that stuff, it's the same price. The difference really is between the Market 32 and the Market Bistro is the food court. It really is. That's the main difference between them. The dessert area is a little, but you're paying more for that because it's fresh and that stuff. But Market 32 has a dessert place, but they don't have the selection that Market Bistro has. They got a food court, but it's not as nice as Market Bistro's. So if you want that stuff, you pay a little extra. If you just want to buy your pop, your deli meats, and stuff like that, you're paying the same price no matter which store you go to.
Might as well go to the nicer one now.
Yeah, so I go to the nicer one that's closer.
Mhm.
I mean, I would be happy if they had a Market 32 just as close to me. I wouldn't go out of my way to go to Market Bistro unless I wanted to go sit down and eat in the store.
Yeah.
But
there's no food here in Western PA. I'll give it that.
So like I said, that's the reason why I like Market Bistro over Market 32, and that's the difference. The main difference, and maybe sometime I'll go into Market 32 and show you their food court. It's nice, but it's not as nice as Market Bistro's. Their selection is not as big. It's not as grandiose, if you want to use a fancy word. But, like I said, the Market Bistro is the fancy. And as far as I know, it's the only one they have. It's the only one in this area. So
In Western PA, we don't even have food. Let me tell you.
well, like I said, up where I lived at before, you had Wegmans and Tops. Tops is out of Buffalo. Wegmans is out of Rochester. And if I had to give the nod to one of them, it would be Wegmans. All right, the newer Wegmans. The older ones, no, but the newer ones, the ones they were building after I had moved there, had a really nice food court. Some of them, nice selection of food.
We don't even have a supermarket with a food court here where I'm at.
But Tops, depends on which Tops you went to. The one in Leroy where I lived wasn't near as good as the one in Batavia or the one in Henrietta where I work. Batavia is where it was only about 8 miles away from where I lived. But the Tops in Leroy was only a mile one way from my house. It was really close enough if I really wanted to during the good weather. And I've done this, walk to it. But I wasn't buying a lot of groceries. You walk there, sit down, have a cup of coffee, buy a loaf of bread or something like that, and walk back home. But like I said, I happen to be a person. Yeah, I'm overweight, but I actually do like to walk, and I need to get back into it. So, Jerry was asking me earlier when I want to do my next walking video. If the weather's decent this week, I'll get out and do one this week. If not, I'll have to do something else. I got one to put up this week. I do. I took a video of the laundry tore apart. The laundry.
I got to put up a walking video where I live. You guys would be amazed.
Yeah, like I said,
it looks like Field and Stream magazine.
And there's nothing wrong with it. Like I said, my cousin George would love that. For me to visit is okay, but I wouldn't want to live there. I could go there for, it's a vacation place. I don't go there for a week or two, and that's it. After a week or two, I'd be bored out of my gourd and ready to go.
Larry, it's similar to where you live, but where I live, it's like I just live off a road and up a hill, so to speak. But if I get down in front, I'm right back in society.
Yeah,
I'm not like you think I am.
I'm going to tell you something else, though. I would be that way with the beach. I love the ocean. I really do. But if that's all I got around me, after a week or two, I'd be going nuts.
No, I got everything. I got an airport and everything right down the road. But
well, I'm just saying, though. I mean, some people, they would be happy going to the beach every day.
Everything's 15, 20 minutes away here. That's it.
Yeah. But for me, going to the beach every day would drive me nuts. It's just like walking out to the stream and go fishing. First day fishing, I'd be done. I'd be done fishing for the first day.
That's the beauty of living where I live. If I go 30 minutes, I am out in the Allegheny Highlands of Pennsylvania.
See, I wouldn't want to be there.
20 minutes, I'm at the mall in the opposite direction.
My hometown, where I grew up, I could walk to a grocery store. I could walk to a gas station. I could walk to a Dairy Queen. I could go walk a couple blocks during the summer and watch ball games, young kids playing football, soccer, or baseball, and for free. All this is, outside the grocery store and stuff like that. I could walk to a grocery store block, about 2.5 blocks from where I live. That's closed down now, but when I was living there. But like I said, when I lived there, it was about almost 26 years ago.
Johnstown has a big ice rink with amateur hockey, and we have amateur baseball.
I'm going to tell you something. I'd never visit that ice rink. I would never visit it. I don't ice skate, never have ice skate, have no interest in ice skating.
Johnstown has their own symphony orchestra, which is quite well known, quite big.
I used to love to go roller skating, but I never did ice skate.
We still have a roller skating rink.
Yeah. Now bowling, I used to go bowling all the time. And there's bowling alleys not too far from me.
Yeah.
But
I used to bowl too, but I haven't for years.
I haven't either. I used to have my own ball. I used to average somewhere around 200 a game.
Well, we had the little ball bowling, and then we have regular bowling here, but they got rid of the little ball bowling thing.
I only did the regular bowling.
Yeah.
But now the best game I ever rode was 253.
No, I beat you then. My highest game was 273. But
my best was 253.
I was
my average,
177.
like I said, I was averaging about 200, 195 to 210. Depends on what time frame you want to talk about.
Right.
I still have my own pool stick, but I haven't shot pool in 15 years, maybe longer.
I've never owned my own pool stick, but
bowling's just too expensive anymore.
It's not too expensive. People I know don't bowl.
It's gotten to me now. If you haven't been for a while, you'll be surprised.
That's true, but I'm just saying, people I know don't bowl, and I don't like going bowling by myself.
For me,
there's a lot of things I can do by myself. I can go sit down in any restaurant and eat by myself. I can go to a movie by myself, but I'm not going to go bowling by myself.
Yeah.
For Junior to go bowling for a few hours is like $75.
No, that's out of my price range now.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. It's gotten.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm just saying, that's out of my price range.
It's gotten ridiculous, Larry.
Well, I don't doubt it. Everything's gotten crazy. I don't even know what it costs to go shoot a rack of balls for an hour. I really don't. I haven't shot
$15.
Huh?
About $15 an hour if you're paying for a pool table.
I wouldn't be surprised one bit. Now, when I was shooting pool, I did it mostly in bars.
Yeah.
But I don't drink and drive. And the last time I went in a bar was not drinking. The damn Coke costs as much as a rum and Coke.
Oh yeah, they do that.
And it's like, I'm not going to sit here and pay that kind of price for a Coke. I'm sorry. I'm just not doing it, so I quit going to bars. I mean, if I can't walk there, I didn't like the bar. I didn't like the bars I could walk to, so I just quit going to bars.
That's what
I stopped playing pool in the bars because that's where all the fights started. That pool table.
Well,
I got tired of fighting.
It all depends on the bars, because the bars I lived close to, that would probably happen. But I didn't like those. I don't like those kind of bars.
Yeah.
I belong to a private club. The pool table's free. The drinks are like $2.50, and it costs you $10 or $12 a year to be a member, depending on your membership.
If I was back in Terre Haute, I could do better than that. The American Legion. The drinks were like $1. And I was home last year at the American Legion.
I'm talking this week, Larry. I ain't talking 10 years
I'm
ago.
talking November last year.
$1 for a drink?
Yeah, the American Legion.
I'm surprised. I know American Legion is a good deal, but I'm surprised at that good price on drinks.
Yeah, even the liquor costs more than that these days.
But if I remember right, it was only $1. Now maybe it might have been a little bit more, but I wasn't paying more. But my friend ran the place.
Sure, it might have been $10. He didn't pay for it, so.
Well, he was sitting there drinking with me. So maybe because they were charging him that, they were charging me that.
Could be.
But him and his wife, he was the manager of the place.
Because liquor's like $20 a bottle on average, you figure, and
yeah, depending.
Well,
yeah,
see, you got to remember the American Legion is not trying to make a profit. The only profit they want is enough to pay their employees. That's it. My friend didn't get paid. He did not get paid for this.
At $2.50 a drink, we don't make a lot of money, and what little money we do, because we're a non-profit, the little money that we make, we give away every month.
Yeah. But
we're like the most charitable organization in our neighborhood.
But
we donate to like little league teams and high school cheerleader teams and football, and the SPCA gets a big chunk of it.
You got to also remember now, I wasn't driving, so I haven't got drunk. Oh God, trying to think, 20 years? No, longer than that. Last time I actually got drunk, drunk. Yeah, about 21 years, 22 years. And I'm talking about falling down drunk. Now, I didn't drive. Don't get me wrong. I wasn't driving. But no, I really don't drink that much anymore. And like I said, I got in trouble once with it, and I decided it was never going to happen again. So I don't even have a drink if I'm driving. Not even the first one. So if somebody else is driving, I'll drink. Or if I'm staying where I'm at, I'll have a few drinks. But even then, I'm not gonna. The last time I had a drink, I'm trying to remember. Was it 5 years ago or 4 years ago? About 5 years ago.
Did
About
you
5
have
years
some
ago.
in when you were back in Indiana?
No.
Oh, I thought you went out and had a.
Well, I had 8. I'm talking about I had more than one drink.
Oh,
That's
okay.
all I ever had.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I'm talking about where I sat down and had 3 or 4 beers. Oh, I want to say about 5 years ago on my birthday.
I'd rather smoke marijuana than drink alcohol. So
I have not had a joint, and we have to go way back, well over 30 years.
Yeah.
Well over 30.
the weed
I
today.
tried
is much
it
better.
when I tried it when I was
I'm
a
not
kid,
gonna
and I got a
smoke it.
sore throat.
It's
from it,
legal.
so I got
And
no
it's
point-
legal
no
here in New
reason
York.
for it.
It's legal here in New York, and I'm still not going to smoke it.
Yep.
I will not smoke anything anymore. I'm done smoking.
You know
I quit.
what's funny?
I quit cigarettes, and that will be 24 years in March.
The
There's no
illegal
sense
weed
starting anything else.
is often better than the stuff you can buy.
But I'm just saying, though, 24 years ago this March, I quit smoking cigarettes. Now, I quit long before that, the marijuana. But once I quit cigarettes, I made myself a promise. I'm not smoking anything because it may lead to cigarettes again.
Yep.
It's like I had a guy offer me a cigar because he had a kid. And I said, no, I can't do it. I said, I just quit. I think maybe not even a year, maybe a year at the most. I said, no, I can't do it. I said, I quit smoking. And I told him when. So however long it was, he knew. I said, I'm afraid if I smoke that cigar, later on we'll say, well, that's not too bad. I can handle a cigarette. Because I had a friend that quit for almost 5 years. And he was at a party. And he decided, well, it's been 5 years. I can handle a cigarette. And he smoked a cigarette. A few days later, he had another cigarette. Within a week or two after that first cigarette, he was back to a pack a day.
Yeah.
Now, another guy who was
was.
another guy I knew. Now he was my big boss in the company I worked for back in Rochester. He had quit smoking for 16 years and went back to smoking because something happened. He decided, I needed a cigarette to calm down. And in no time at all, he's back to a pack a day. And part of his problem was his wife didn't quit when he quit. She was still smoking. And so, like I said, I made the decision when I quit smoking, and because he had gone back to smoking before I quit. This is all these guys happened before I quit. I was still smoking.
Yeah.
And so when I decided to quit, I decided that's it. I'm done with cigarettes altogether. I decided I would never date a woman who smoked because I figured the odds are I would go back to smoking quicker than she would quit smoking. And,
Well, I like peanut butter cookies with green centers.
yeah.
My friend, there's eat 2 or 3 cookies. It's like, wow.
Well, they got gummies now too, but
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're not the same. I want high THC count. I don't want no CBD. I want the goods. If I'm going there, I want it.
no, every man they do make a slight profit. Like I said, they got to pay their employees, but they are a nonprofit, and you got to remember the American Legion serves any veteran. You don't have to have been in the war.
Well, the
That's
American
the VFW.
in our neighborhood makes more than a slight profit.
Well, back home they make a profit, but there's not. But see, they hire bands that come in and play, and they make some money, but they're not out to
Well, it's more
make
than
a lot of money.
more than a slight profit because they got to operate as they got to have the the Dram Shack Act, insurance, and all that.
Yeah, but they own the property, they own the building. They're not renting any of that stuff. So yeah, well, but yeah, you got to make a. I'm not talking about profit to pay what you got to pay. You got to
No,
pay.
yeah,
That.
that's not profit if you're just making enough to pay your bills.
Yeah, you got to have
You know,
profit.
that's
to-
cost of doing business.
You got to have enough money coming through though to pay. Like I see it because I'm an overseeing auditor for my club, so I see the books.
Yeah, they got to have enough money to cover if there's a short month.
You got to
Yeah.
make $7 to $10 grand a month in profit. Just
It
to
depends
keep
on.
the lights on.
It probably depends on where you live. Indiana's a lot cheaper to live than New York or Pennsylvania.
I don't see that at all.
Oh, I do.
I don't.
lived-
Absolutely. Not. What's so much cheaper in Indiana than Pennsylvania?
Well, for one thing, rent, utilities, gas. My utilities.
Gasoline
Well,
might be cheaper, but electric isn't cheaper than
Yes,
Pennsylvania.
it is. Yes, it is.
Not by a whole lot. It can't be.
And I'll bet you it is.
I'll bet you it's not.
What is your delivery? How much do you pay just to have your electric delivered?
I don't see that.
It's in your bill. It'll tell you exactly what it is.
It's usually the only time I ever see that on an electric bill is when I've used enough less electricity to where they got to stick something else in there to raise the price back up.
Well,
And then I
in
see it.
Indiana, my full electric bill, for the whole month using the air conditioners during the summer was cheaper than my cheapest month in New York. I'm talking about the whole month because in Indiana in August, there's many a time I had my air conditioner on every day, all day.
No, that's very possible.
Oh, I know it's possible. I did it many, many times. And when I moved down here, the cost to have it delivered to me, just to have it delivered to me, was almost as much as my full bill back home. My highest bill I ever paid on electricity, in Indiana, I remember, I'm talking years ago. But my highest bill in Indiana was like $50. All right. My delivery cost was like $15 a month. It was $30 a month just to have it delivered in New York. No usage whatsoever. It was $30. Then they added your usage.
Yeah,
That was in every bill.
Like I say, the only time I ever saw the delivery charge on the bill was if my usage was low enough to where they wanted to just add the damn delivery charge on there to raise the price up. So I paid enough to make them happy.
Well, in Western Pennsylvania, we're Penelect, which is an Exelon company. Exelon's all over the country.
Yeah.
They still charge by region. All utilities charge by your region. In other words, they're going to look at your competitors and their competitors. Like, all right, when I lived in Batavia, it was cheaper for electricity than it was in Leroy, which is a smaller town. The reason why is not because it's a smaller town compared to a bigger town, because Batavia wasn't that much. It wasn't that big, but it was the company delivering your electricity.
Well, my electric bill here at home is about $157 a month, but that includes part of that's for heating also. So,
well, my all I have is electric. That's all I have. Everything's electric.
right.
And mine's averaging now. It may go up. I don't know. But right now, the last average, which is the last 4 or 5 months, is $165 a month. Now, last winter, before I went to a monthly plan, I had one bill that was $400 and something a month. And the next month the first month was over $200. The next month was over $400.
Well,
But because I don't use that much during the summer, when they averaged out the year, it went down to $165 a month. So my winter bills are a lot higher than my summer.
I burn on average $180 a month in wood pellets for heat. So the pellet stove uses 200 watts of electric when it's on, plus the wood pellet it generates the heat from. I get a very good deal on heat because I don't have any gas or oil bill. I also cook with electric.
Well,
Yeah.
And I remember when I said they're not making a profit, I'm saying what I meant to say is they don't make a profit like a regular bar. They're not trying to make. They're not trying to make that kind of profit. Yeah, they make a profit.
Right.
Like I said,
Well,
they gotta pay. They gotta pay their employees. They gotta pay their electric bills because that's not. That's not.
Our
free.
$2.50 rack drink at my club is in comparison to a bar down the street, which would be $4.50.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You're still making a profit. It's just not. You're not out to make one individual a lot of money because the person that owns the bar is the one who's making the money.
We have to give away our money every month, and we support our community with.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, but that's what I'm saying. I mean, you're out to make a profit, but so you can pay all your bills, and like you said, if there's anything left over, you give it away.
We give away $100 to $1,000, depending on the organization and their need. Fire departments, rescue squads.
That's the difference between a club. And I'm talking about an actual club, not some place just calling themselves a club. I'm talking about a social club like some of the here in New York, a lot of the fire departments, the volunteer fire departments, have their own club.
Well, we have that. We're an actual club. We're not. I don't know what an actual club is. What's the difference?
A club is you have to join. You don't just walk in.
You
Now,
can't.
I don't have to join because I'm a guest. I'm talking about you can't go there every night and take your date and you
I don't
usually have to be a member of the bar or the club. You
got to be a member of a club under Pennsylvania LCB laws just to attend. You can be signed in as a guest.
That's what I
But if
said.
you're
I mean,
signed in as a guest more than, I think it's 5 times in a 30-day period, you must become a member.
that's what I'm saying. You can be a guest, but I'm saying no. There are membership rules. And when I go home, I don't go in enough times to join.
Not only that,
I only go in once or twice the whole time I'm home.
you generally save more money on 2 trips to our club. You say it's only a 10 or 12 hour a year membership. So you save that kind of money just in how much less it costs you to drink.
Yeah. Well, like I say, when I go in, usually if I'm driving, not usually, if I'm driving, I'm drinking Coke.
Do you guys have games?
If somebody else is driving, I'll have a beer or I'll have a rum and Coke.
Do you have games of skill and chance now in New York?
I haven't been to a bar in New York in 20 years.
We now have. Well, I haven't been to a bar, but our bars and clubs and things in Pennsylvania can now have legalized gambling, which is games of skill and games of chance.
Yeah. I haven't been to any club or anything. I like I said, I'm a veteran, so I could join any American Legion. I can join. That's
Our
not a problem.
club,
I just don't. I can't see it. I don't drink
our club does
because they're far enough away. I'd have to drive.
just under $8,000 a month in gambling with the games of chance.
Well,
And we make about $2,500 a month out of that.
I'm going to tell you the truth. If New York doesn't have it, it would surprise me.
We and our American Legion Club here in Wimber, Pennsylvania, is the bar is what a lot of people used to go for. Now they're restaurants since they've upgraded. The food is incredible and very reasonably priced.
Well, see, I have been to the casinos.
Casino
Now,
food is always good.
Well, I worked at a racetrack part-time. It was a part-time gig. I was a security guard. I was working at Batavia Downs. Now, Batavia Downs is not a normal thoroughbred racing. It's what do they call that kind of race? It's where they got the cart.
Sulky. It's a sulky track.
Yeah, but I mean, you have 2 types of racers there too. You have the pacers and the trotters, and they'll have races for both. I worked there, but they had New York changed the rules where they could have a casino at the tracks.
Right.
and that's when they started hiring other guards.
How
They
far
had
away
their-
from? How far away are you from, say, Edwards, New York, or Governor, New York?
have no clue where they're at.
All
Not
right.
far enough away.
I don't know.
That's what I said. I have no clue. I can't tell you. I know where there's some casinos at. They're not too far from me.
Well, they're Indian reservation casinos out near Edwards. What is
Well,
what town are you in, Larry?
I'm in a little place called Waterville.
Waterville?
Waterville. It's a suburb of Albany, New York, the capital.
Oh, you're out near Albany.
Yeah. Now there, Onondaga is also a Indian reservation casino, and then there's in Buffalo they got a Indian reservation casino. It's in Niagara area.
See, I live in what they call the Laurel Highlands of Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And, you know, we're a big resort area if you drive, say, a half hour away from where I live. I live in Johnstown area in a little town called Elam. And it's all mountainous around me. You'd think you were in the Alps the way it's like all big mountains. But the mountains aren't big. It's kind of a little misleading when I say that, but they're really steep.
Now, talking about Pennsylvania, do you know where Forest City is?
Fort City?
Yeah.
No, what's it near?
Wilkesboro, maybe?
That's over in the Carbon County in Western Poconos area.
That's where my oldest brother-in-law is from, is Forest City.
That's Mahoning Valley area.
That it's a coal mining country.
Yes, well, coal was invented in Summit Hill, Pennsylvania. That's
What invented? You've been found.
That's Bob Chunk, Jim Thorpe. They got Jim Thorpe's body there. They basically kidnapped him to put him there.
But like I said, that's where my oldest brother-in-law is from. Now he was an electrical engineer.
They call that Jim Thorpe, which is Mock Chunk. They call it the Switzerland of Pennsylvania because it's a real picturesque little train town. They invented railroads to transport the coal from Summit Hill, PA. That's it. The Molly Maguires are from Mahanoy City, Pennsylvania. Maybe you heard of that.
I've heard of Molly Maguires, yes, but where they were from, no.
Mahanoy City is also a unique place in the world.
Remember that Molly Maguires wasn't that one of the strikes that the Pennsylvania?
Yeah, they were coal miners.
The Pinkertons busted that. Pinkerton back in the 1800s was not a nice group of people.
Well, Pinkerton was big here in Western Pennsylvania too, in Johnstown for the steel strikes and stuff.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They did a lot. They busted a lot of strikes up. Now Pinkerton was out of Chicago, Illinois, originally.
Mahanoy City, where the Molly Maguires are from, Maguire's Tavern. Mahanoy City is the first city in the world to have cable television. It was invented here in Pennsylvania. A farmer put up an antenna in his cow pasture to get the TV signal from New York. And he sold the signal to his neighbors in the city in the mountains that couldn't get it. Thus, Cablevision was invented.
I know they had something similar to that in the 70s out in California.
And this is way before the 70s.
I'm just saying, though.
Another thing that was interesting is all the little coal mining homes, these row homes in Mahanoy City, they're all 11 feet 4 inches wide. There's not a home in the town that's 12 feet wide.
Yeah. Hey, folks, it's going on 3 hours. I'm trying to decide whether or not I want to shut it down. Anybody out there still besides us, give us a shout out, because if you're still out there, we'll keep going.
You got to work tomorrow, Larry?
Yeah, I got to work tomorrow. So I can go another hour. That'd be it.
Okay, well, it's your stream. You're driving.
Well, like I said, if there's people out there, we can keep going. I know Ann said she was going to come back, but I don't know if she's made it back yet. So I don't want to really leave if she's coming back.
All right.
Now we still got Michelle, as far as I know. But she hasn't said anything in about a half an hour. Now Larice, it's only been 8 minutes or so since she said something. So it's good chance she's still here.
Yeah.
So
I
right
got
now right now I'm showing 3 people in the chat. Now is that us or is that people in the chat? I don't know how they count.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
So I don't know if they count us or if they just count people that's not in the studio that's in the chat.
Yeah, I've never done a live stream, so I don't have a clue.
I've done live streams, but I don't know how they count it. I've never known.
I don't even know how to do one.
Well,
I'll tell you, Larry, all your girlfriends keep popping up on my Facebook page.
Yeah,
well,
I
you
got
mean girls that want to be my girlfriend?
I had one of them. I sent her an email this week.
Oh yeah. That would take
Yeah,
my
I said,
hat
hey,
off.
she's in the Philippines. I was laughing when I got her response back. I said, hey, well, I'm a poor American. Can you lend me some money?
Oh, jeez.
What'd you say?
Oh, she lives in the Philippines. You don't have no money.
Oh, I'll get some, and this is no lie.
I beat him to the punch, though.
Yeah, but I'll get some that will ask for money before I even answer them.
Yeah.
You know,
They ask for money.
I will not even answer. I will not answer those.
I either email them back and ask them for money, or I ask them if they ask me for money up front. I ask them to take their top off.
Not me. I just don't. And then you'll get the calls, the phone calls, on Messenger.
Yeah.
You never even had a chat with them, and they're calling you.
Well, I love it when I
Yeah.
ask them to take their top off. Oh yeah, well,
Well-
can you take your top off? Oh no, well, all right.
Well, I had one lady, like I said, she tried calling me a few times, and she finally sent a message. And I wrote back and told her, I said, I do not answer calls, video or audio, on Messenger. Why? Because I won't do it. I just won't do it. I don't know you. We've never talked before. I don't answer calls from people I don't know.
Oh, you big sexy honey bear, you.
And then she said something about, and it's like, one of the reasons I don't think my girlfriend would like it. And well, then I'll get this question sometimes. Well, how old's your girlfriend? I'm not lying. I've had this question from the lady who said she was an American. She looked like a Caucasian. So is she prettier than me?
Yep.
And I answered her back, in my opinion.
I got a good answer for that. I haven't seen you naked.
See, I don't want the conversation to continue because if she's trying to hustle you, she may say, "Hey, look, you give me some money, we can." Because I'll have them say, "Well, how about we go to WhatsApp, and talk there."
Oh yeah, they want to get you off Messenger and stuff.
Hey, Novus, welcome. Glad to see you made it. If you want to come up, come on up. If you just want to drop your link, type in LLL and your link will be dropped. Not a problem.
Hey, Novus.
So anyway, like I said, on my Facebook page, that's Lazy Larry Lee, I put in there intentionally that I'm in a relationship to try to cut back on this stuff.
I think I'm gonna have to.
And I'm going to tell you something.
I get
It
something
doesn't seem to work. I still get calls and they'll ask me, "Are you married?" Because in a relationship, a lot of them say, "Well, if you're not married, you're still free to do what you want, unless of course you're with them." And that's all I got. Now, Novus is in the Thailand.
Now, if they're a Filipina,
She may be Filipino, but say Sawadi Cap, that is Thailand.
okay.
And that's pretty much like "Hi, how you doing?" I think, if I remember it right, or "Thank you," maybe. I'm not sure. I used to watch a few more Thailand vloggers than I do now. One of them passed away that I watched, Kevin Thailand. He ended up with cancer. Had to go back. He was from England. He had to go back and get treated, and he ended up passing away. But like I said, there's some places in Thailand I would love to visit. Now, I don't know if you know who Bobby is from Time to Get Going too. No,
Oh,
that's his
yeah.
wife. Time to Get Going.
Yeah, I've
And his
been.
wife, Time to Get Going too, Jai.
I've checked his channel out a few times.
Well, they just got back from Thailand not too long ago. They went to her family's compound, which they have a place there, and he was showing that off, and they got a pond there for fishing and other stuff, and they were showing you around that. Then they went into the city, which is where they have a house at, and was doing some work on it. Now they're back in California, which is where he lives. And so he's still putting up some videos from his trip, but he's also doing videos local because it was snowing up in the mountain area not too far from where he's from one day. So they took a trip up there. So because Jai, J-A-I, I believe it's the way he spelled, his wife had never seen snow, even though they've been married for years. But like I said, they don't live where it's at.
Right.
And she went up and she laid down and started to make a snow angel and got back up and was ready to get back in the car because it was too cold.
We haven't seen much snow here in Western PA this year. How about you in New York, Larry?
There's been a couple good storms. I did a short video, couple of them. One was showing it snowing at night. I just got home from work. I had the next day off. And I got up the next day, and it was later in the day, and I went out and took a shot of the snow and showed. And we had, probably close to 8 inches of snow. So not real bad, but it would have been a bad commute in because it was overnight.
Yeah, we haven't had a lot of. We haven't.
Yeah,
really
Buffalo got a lot of snow.
No, Buffalo gets that lake. They get a lake effect. Buffalo and Rochester both get that lake effect.
Well, we get lake effect here where I'm at, but I've seen lake effect snow go all the way across as far as Philadelphia, and it's just like little flurry patterns. I mean, lake effect snow's a little misleading.
Yeah, but it's not like that in Buffalo.
When Buffalo gets lake effect,
they got like 7 feet of snow or something.
they have before, yes. I was in that one year. I'm trying to think how long ago. Somewhere between 17 and 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Back before Katrina. My friend, who's a college professor, I took her and her family down to New Orleans because there was a conference going on that she had to present a paper, and there were some job interviews being done. And so we went down there, and this was between Christmas and New Year's. We left up here on Christmas Day, and not where I'm at now, but close to where I lived before. We left there on Christmas Day, spent Christmas night in Nashville, then made it to New Orleans the next day. We left New Orleans, New Year's Eve, so just before New Year's Day.
Yeah, you did.
There, and was on our way back. But before New Year's Day, what I mean to get to is when they had a big snowstorm in Buffalo. They got 7 foot of snow in one storm, and I'm in the hotel and I'm hearing about the storm. So I called my sister, who lives almost halfway between Buffalo and Rochester, and she can get hit by either side. So I called to see how they were doing. They didn't get any snow at all. And Buffalo got 7 foot. Rochester didn't get any.
I seen 54 inches one time in Philly. That was a lot.
Try 7 foot.
Well,
I've seen 60 in one time. I've seen more than that. And a 60 I thought was crazy, but 7
Yeah.
foot would be absolutely nuts.
Oh,
But
50
anyway,
is 4.5 feet. It's a lot.
Yeah.
uh,
Well, I remember
I agree with you.
the
But
one
anyway,
Go
let
ahead,
me
Larry.
get back to but Rochester didn't get any. And back then, Rochester had what they call a winter festival right around that time frame, where they build up snow piles so the kids can play in it, and they'd have a little area where the young kids can maybe ski down a little slope that they would build with the snow. Well, they didn't have any snow, so they had to truck it in from Buffalo because Buffalo had so much snow they really didn't know where to dump it all.
Yeah.
We got Dan coming up, and
Hey,
so they
Dan.
didn't really know where to dump it all. So Rochester had them ship it down to them, and they made the national news because they shipped that snow in from Buffalo.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember.
Hey Dan, how you doing, sir? Hello, man, Mimi, how you doing? Hello. Now I got a question for you. Well, hello. Who's that? Is that your helper? I see you're out having to eat, but you're not at Dunkin'.
Oh, hey,
Dan,
can hardly hear you, but anyway, we're here having lunch at Bye Bye City Latte.
Yeah, I know, but you're not at Dunkin'. So, everybody having a good time? We got Mac Daddy.
Yeah, we sure are. We're having a fine meal. Got some.
That's good.
Just got through shopping at Metro Mart.
Barbecue, chicken barbecue.
Well, I believe it. Dan just said they have real cheese and baby, or bye. But it's very expensive. I believe it.
Well,
Yeah.
cheese is getting expensive here too.
$30 for $15 a pound, something like that.
Oh wow, it's not that high here yet.
Yeah, well, you got to remember though, Leonard. they have
For
to have it
mozzarella
imported.
cheese.
It's imported, right?
No.
Dan, is it imported?
Oh yeah.
Hey guys, I just wanted to stop by and say hi.
Hi, bye,
Bye.
man, Minnie.
I'm taking off. I'm on data. I'm
Well, that's
taking
right.
off.
Hi guys.
That's why it's
I
so
don't blame you.
sluggish.
Bye,
Hey, be
Bye.
careful. Have fun.
bye. Have a good one. So you guys take care. Glad you made it. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be up here. I got to work in the morning, so I'll be up for a little bit. And,
Bye-bye.
anyway, bye. Using the data, you can eat up the data doing it.
Cameo.
I know my phone.
But that explains why he's sluggish on the screen.
Oh yeah, data can be really sluggish sometimes,
Yeah.
and especially if you're in an area where you don't get good reception.
Yep.
I get where I work at, I get decent reception for following a live stream. I don't know how well I do doing one. You know,
Well, while you're at work.
Where I'm at work, I mean, I can follow a live stream at work fairly well. I don't have trouble. As long as I don't go into the warehouse itself.
Right.
But sitting at my
Yeah,
office
probably
area,
best, yeah.
I can follow a live stream. I just don't know how well I can do one on data. And so far, I've never had to find out.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I got internet here at home. And when I did mine when I was traveling, I had internet in the hotel room.
Right.
And so I was able to do that. And
Well, you probably could have used your phone as a hotspot too. If you had to.
if they have Spectrum, because my phone's Spectrum.
Mm.
So if they had a Spectrum, I might be able to use it as a hotspot to that. Otherwise, I'm just using data.
Yeah.
I don't know how well it would work on data.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Yeah, I got
That's what I'm saying.
stuff on my phone.
Do what?
I
I got Metro. I got nationwide.
Yeah, well, I got data nationwide, but it's how strong is it going to be to conduct? You know, and plus after
I
20,000 or what is it?
2 meg.
20 megabytes or 20 gigabytes or whatever it is, the bigger amount, they slow it down. You still got it, but they'll slow down your usage.
I got
Yeah.
unlimited everything, and I get 2 lines for 25 hours, but my Metro plan comes out of the Philippines. Don't ask me how I got this deal, because they don't offer it to anyone else. They offered it to me because I had a complaint with them, and I was a customer for more than a couple of years. They said, we're going to give you something special, but if you ever cancel for 1 month, you'll never get it again.
And make sure you get that bill paid on time.
Oh, I pay it on time every month, but I get 2 lines, unlimited everything for 25 hours.
Well,
Nobody
I get unlimited, but like I said, after a certain amount, you still have it, but they will slow it down during peak season.
Yeah, I don't get slowed down or anything. I got
But the thing is, mine is like $25 a line. I have 2 lines, but if I had 1 line, it was like $45.
yeah.
So I paid another $5 and got 2 lines, both of them unlimited. And so I take this phone that I'm using for the. I take this phone here and this phone here, both to work, and I will use the data off both of them according to what I'm doing, so I don't use up all the data on just one phone.
Yeah, I'm on my cell phone here, but I have to bounce it off my internet tower with Wi-Fi because of where I live in the mountain here. I'm in a dead spot. We don't get cell phone service here either.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I get my cell phone, but
And now I'm supposed to be getting a new internet service, ISP available. Hughes Internet is coming in to take over for BreezeLine.
Well, Hughes is not too bad. They're satellite, right?
Well,
I
in
don't
my
know.
area, they're just going to be regular broadband cable.
Well, like I
Yeah,
said, I don't
but
know
I
who the
think
cable.
Well,
I don't know who
Hughes
the
used to
cable
be
is here.
satellite, providing satellite dish.
But I do know we do got Direct TV and a couple of those that are satellite.
Right.
And then we have Blaze, which you have to be in shot of this tower in Johnstown. If you can't see the tower, you can't really get their internet service.
Yeah.
But
I
just have Spectrum. I don't bother with cable. I don't have satellite TV. Spectrum has you pay a little bit of money for mobile.
Well,
And
I get
you can
internet
watch.
service.
I can watch TV on the internet. I can watch it off my data if I'm somewhere else. So I don't have to be hooked up to the internet to use it.
BreezeLine used to be Atlantic Broadband.
But like I said, I can have it on both my cell phones and my TV, which I do. And then I got YouTube. I can have on both my phones and my TV.
Well, the only reason I'm familiar with Hughes is I used to have that from my mother.
Well, I had Direct TV. And then I had what's the other? Direct TV and Dish. I had both of them at one time. I had the cable company, Time Warner.
We have Xfinity here, who used to be Comcast.
Right.
Yeah.
But they're not available in my neighborhood. And then we have Atlantic Broadband, who is now BreezeLine. Why they all got to change their name, I don't know.
Because somebody bought them out and changed the name.
Probably.
They weren't bought out.
It is. It's that simple.
Weren't bought out, Larry. The other problem, though, the other thing, Xfinity and BreezeLine both lease their cable space from Hughes. So you got Hughes either way, but you just got to buy it from a different internet service provider.
Oh.
But,
it gets very confusing.
Now, has Hughes out there got actual cable?
They're coming in. They got wire out here, but they're coming in with fiber optic real soon.
Oh, okay.
Because of that thing them Democrats did, they decided that all Western Pennsylvania is going to get hooked in the internet, all the rural areas
Well, that was that
under
Uh,
Biden,
Inflation Reduction Act.
right?
No, the infrastructure bill.
Yes,
The infrastructure bill. Yeah, they're going to be doing that over the whole nation.
they're putting trunk line everywhere. They're out here stringing this black cable. It's fiber optic line. It's about as thick as your thumb.
If they really want to do us a favor, and I don't care who pay, I would think if they would bury all the lines underground
Oh, absolutely,
would be better.
absolutely. If you got
Because you're not going to have the ice taking it down. You're not going to have trees taking it down. Now,
Not gonna
in some
have
areas
her-
that get a lot of earthquakes, that might not be good for there.
No.
Well,
But where
good luck
we're
in
at,
burying it. Good luck in burying it in Western Pennsylvania here, because you're not going to bury it in rock.
Oh, they'd find a way.
Oh, they can find a way, but I'm just saying it's
Yeah.
going to be expensive.
infrastructure's not cheap.
No.
Yeah, well, but I'm just saying burying.
But I'm just saying that that's one of the reasons why the infrastructure sucks in a lot of these places, because they try to go cheap, where they, they're saying, well, we don't want to spend the money on that, and then later when they do decide to spend the money, now it costs a whole lot more if they'd have done it as it's
I
like in the
said-
Philippines right now. In the Philippines, they got all those wirings that need to be rewired, and they just
Yep.
keep putting more wires up.
Yeah. Some of the
And
places.
I'm talking about after a storm comes through.
Yeah.
I understand, you got to rehook it so you can get it back up quick. But if they would just take the time after they got it back up and start just doing sections at a time.
Oh yeah, you couldn't
put
do
it
both
underground.
at
You can't
once.
do it all at once.
But no, you're right. If they do a section at a time,
It would be, in the long run, it would be cheaper. Not going to cost you a lot to do it to start. I'm not saying that. But in the long run, because you're not having to replace it every time a storm blows through.
right?
Well,
It'd save you. Plus, the overhead would be so much clearer and so much safer.
One thing I found out recently about the Laurel Highlands, the Allegheny Mountains, which go into West Virginia and parts of Kentucky from here, is that because there's so much rock in the ground, we got a lot of dolomite in the soil, and it makes excellent violins because of these oak trees here have special, you just look at the oak, it looks different. You see horizontal and vertical lines in the oak. I can't explain it. It's much harder wood. And it rings. So I'm learning a lot about the uniqueness of where I live is my point.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm going to go ahead and call it. It's almost 11:30.
Okay, Larry. Like I said, it's your show.
Dan,
well, I won't make it to bed till almost midnight anyway.
Thank you
by
for
the time I
and
get
hosting.
Yeah, no problem. We'll do it again next week.
All
I'm sure.
right. I will try to be here.
Well, good Lord willing, the creek don't rise. I'll be here.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
So
You
I'll
guys
have to post
have a good
it.
night. I'm out of here.
You too, Mac.
Take
Take
it
care,
easy.
man.
Take care.
All right. In case there's anybody left out there listening, let me just make the statement. Remember, be nice to each other. Take care of yourselves. Stay safe and healthy. Plus, as always, try to have fun. We're going to close this one for now.
Yeah, you
Take
too,
care,
Larry.
everybody. Bye.